But when it goes, I'll just go.
Sure.
Oh, it's going. Okay. And let me give myself a break so I can edit it. Hey, everybody. Cobra DVS here, episode 7 of the Infrequent Jog podcast. We have Hunter, per usual.
Hello. 7 episodes already, huh?
Yeah, that's true. I thought this was 6, to be honest with you, but I had to look it up.
I'm trudging along there.
Yeah. But we do have a very special guest, JP from JP Switch Mania. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you?
Of course. Good. Yeah,
doing well. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks. I'm happy to be here. Congrats on your 7th episode now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hunter and I have been talking about doing different guests, and we didn't have a set list when we started out the thing, but the other day I can't remember. I think we were just doing a Google Hangout with a couple of with one of our other friends, Rob, and I said, what would be good on the show is JP Switch Mania, and he said, oh yeah, it's good because we've been in that Nintendo Switch group forever, and when it comes to Switch stuff, I mean, I guess guru was the word.
I don't think there's anyone out there that touches you.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, when I first started, so the Switch came out, and I always tell the story to my friends, but when that first presentation came out and they revealed what the Switch was, first thing in my mind, I'm like, okay, it looks good. I don't know yet if it's gimmicky or not. They were showing Switch.
Yeah, same reaction I had.
Yeah. And I'm thinking okay, I guess it's probably going to be like the Wii U. The lineup didn't seem too big, manageable. And then 5 months after it comes out, I'm just like, where are all these games coming from? It's going crazy.
Right out the gate, they had companies on board that they hadn't worked with in years. Rockstar, Bethesda. I don't even think they've ever worked with Bethesda. It's just crazy how quick it became a success.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be honest, the launch lineup of games was not good.
Right. And it was small. I was like, okay.
It was 5 titles. I
could do that. I could collect 5 titles. That's not too bad. And now it's I don't know how many. Yeah, it's crazy.
But you know what's nice about it? There were only 5 games, but it absolutely had a killer app.
Oh, yeah.
With Breath of the Wild. Yeah, so. Yeah.
It took me a while to play that, but once I did, I finished it at 120 hours. Phenomenal game. That is a game. If you're going to buy one game, you'll be set with Breath. So
I still have not played it.
You haven't played it?
I don't even have it.
Oh my god.
You're probably the only one.
You would be shocked at my Switch collection. I have very few first-party titles at the moment.
That's okay. Do you like the games that you have though?
Oh yeah. I love. I got a couple stinkers because they're cheap, but
he loves fitness boxing and Big Buck Hunter. He loves those games.
I don't knock it till you try it. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Those games are fun.
I was actually going to ask you, JP, about the launch. Did you say you got it at launch, or it was a few months?
Yeah. I actually had gotten out of video games for a while. I missed really the whole Wii U era. Xbox One I wasn't into. PS4 that was probably my biggest system I was collecting for. Yeah, and then once I could pre-order the Switch right after that presentation, I went to Best Buy for the midnight launch, and it just hooked me back in again into video games. And you can see now I've been collecting a little heavily, but yeah, I was there the first night. I did a quick Facebook unboxing of the Switch console, and I've been in love with it ever since. So I've been day one.
It's quickly risen to it might be my favorite system now ever. Yeah. It's getting up there.
I didn't think it would. PSP, I'm starting to realize I think I'm more of a handheld kind of gamer.
So am I. I love PSP, 3DS.
PSP was probably the biggest system I ever collected for. I'm looking at it, and I still have my whole collection from when I was actively going for it. And I was working at GameStop at the time, so it was just easy to.
I worked for GameStop too.
Yep. It's that 2006, 2007 PSP. Yeah. I have 200 games for it, and I thought, wow, that's a big collection. And now it's just the Switch just dwarfs that. And
right.
It's crazy.
I've started going for the PSP set too. I'm working on that one myself.
Nice. I think I just like those small cases.
It's something about them. They're very aesthetically pleasing.
They display well.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. It's the Switch. Look at a beautiful wall of red. That just looks nice on a shelf.
Yeah. You said you didn't play the Wii U at all. I mean, frankly, at this point, you don't really have to because everything's on Switch. But
Exactly.
Yeah,
the
you're
way
not missing
you
much.
were, I would say the way you were with like Switch is kind of how I was with the Wii U. I mean, I wasn't like out of gaming before the Wii U came along, but I did an unboxing on the channel when I first got it.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that I was so excited for that thing, and I defended.
Yeah,
it
no,
forever.
you were hyping it up, defending it. You were
I
like, no,
defended
it's a
that
damn
thing
good
for a long
system.
time.
Buy it.
And it's only within the past, well, I mean, several years it's been now, but that I can quite confidently and admit that Wii U's not that great. I mean, there's a good,
No.
it has a good idea, but it just really, it's not explored
You're
well
wrong.
enough to.
Wrong. It's not that it isn't great. It's actually incredible if the games were never ported to the Switch.
Yeah,
Right.
well, yeah, as a good first party lineup.
So for its time, it was amazing because I had a Wii U when it came out and I loved that thing.
Do you feel
It's
like they
just-
just marketed it very poorly?
Well, I mean,
Extremely.
the name. I was working for Target during the Wii U time, and I can't tell you. I mean, it was every day. Parents coming in. Oh, I thought this worked on the Wii, or I thought this was a tablet add-on, or some bullshit.
Right.
I mean, it was every day.
I think it's like
and
a
if I
combination.
recall,
Go ahead.
so, if I recall, I don't think I ever saw one commercial for the Wii U, ever.
I did, but very few.
Yeah, I don't remember ever seeing a single one, and I don't even know if our Target had a display for it, honestly, or GameStop.
The
I know they're
I
out
remember
there.
walking into a GameStop and just seeing it, and I'm thinking the same thing. Like, I have no idea what this is. Is this like an
Right.
upgrade to the Wii? Is this a
I
brand
mean,
new thing?
And you know what's sad? It's funny now. You know, you walk into a GameStop and you look at the Wii U selection, and it's like 20 games, but it was like that when it was out,
That's true.
which is sad.
Hasn't
I
changed
mean,
then.
Which, yeah, nothing's changed. They're just as common as ever. It's just sad.
Yeah. But you're right, though. I mean, it's all those like first party games are getting new life on the Switch and selling better than they did on the Wii U. Plus, they're getting like upgrades here and there.
Yeah, which is fantastic, and I'm glad
Yeah.
they do that. I'm
Like
really
I feel like
glad
there's very few games at this point that haven't been ported over from the Wii U era to the
there's
Switch.
one. There's one, and I'm gonna bring it up.
Devil's
Yeah.
Third.
Nope.
No?
No, I'm
Okay.
actually still looking
They
for
can
that
keep
game.
that one.
I'm still looking for that game. I'd buy that on Switch.
I wouldn't.
No,
Oh,
you didn't like it?
well,
No, I wouldn't buy
Well,
that.
Tyler, I gotta have every Switch game, so
Mm. Pikmin 3 is probably the one you were gonna say, Hunter.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
is. Sure is.
There's
It's like
Pikmin 3 is probably like
it's the one
it's of the
remaining
few
left.
games- yeah, it's one of the few games that they could quite easily port over.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
nothing that the Wii U can do that because you can play that game with a Pro controller.
I
on it
mean,
if you want to.
looking at my Wii U collection right now, like that's the only game I'm looking at. It's like I would hook up the Wii U to play that game right now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I can't,
I would say speaking first party only. The other stuff, I mean,
oh yeah. I mean, hell, most third-party stuff's on everything now.
Oh yeah.
the one that was surprising that they ported to Switch that was pretty intuitive for Wii U. Well, there's two actually. The first one's Wonderful 101. That game was a
Yeah, I
big
can't
Wii
believe
U.
that got a Switch
Yeah.
release.
And then the other one's actually not on Switch now that I think about it. But Zombie U, they ported that to the
Yeah.
other consoles,
Yeah, well,
but
yeah,
they got
I
rid
got
of all the Wii U stuff. That
That
one
game's
remains
still-
best on
I was
Wii U.
gonna say the Wii U version of that's still the way to play it.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem when you talk about Wii U versus Switch is that if I were to like if let's say I had like somebody like my buddy who's had a Game Boy Color when he grew
Mhm.
up or something like that, not a gamer but knows video games, if I had to explain or try and sell him on one of these, I would have such a difficult time explaining what the Wii U really is.
Yeah,
Compared
I
to-
mean it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's because
really
it's
sell
so
it.
difficult to.
I mean, it's trying to sell them at Target. I mean, people just didn't get it.
Yeah.
They just didn't get it.
It's
I really blame its failure like 80% on the name alone. It's really terrible.
it's not good. It
Xbox One, it's also a horrible name.
But yeah. Anyway, there are a few games though that if you're gonna play them, the Wii U version is good. Games that have mini maps
Watch Dogs.
Mhm.
Watch Dogs.
are really good on Wii U.
I'm repping Watch Dogs till I die.
Watch Dogs would be
Great
one.
game, and Wii U is the way to play it.
Darksiders 2 is another really good one.
Yeah, that's a good version.
I haven't confirmed this, but I hear that the best version of Axiom Verge is the Wii U version.
Really?
I believe
Well,
that.
I mean, it was made for it, so I
Yeah.
would assume that that's why.
But
Did you
if-
pick up the limited run games release of it?
Yep.
I did. That was
Yep,
the
so did I.
that was the last. I have a full Wii U set. It's not that gloatable. Like it's not like I'm in an upper echelon of collectors. Like there's only 150 games.
I'm working on it too.
But that
Yep.
was the last one I bought.
Nice.
No,
There have been actually a couple more since. There was a couple shooters in the UK, I think, that came out.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Finding City 2 just came out in the UK.
Yeah, I saw that. So
Mhm.
I would like to get them, but I'm not going out of my way to buy them.
Do you have a PAL system also, or?
No, which really sucks because I want that I want a Japanese one for that Yakuza HD collection.
Nice.
Yakuza 1 and 2, but yeah.
There's
I was-
that.
I was really
what's
hoping
that
when the
other-
Switch came out that they were gonna like unlock the Wii U's region coding, but it didn't.
Mhm.
What's
That
that
would've been
game?
smart.
What's that Japanese exclusive? It's a horror game with the camera. What is that game called?
Oh, damn it.
Why can I not think of that?
The
Yeah.
Wii U?
Yeah, it's a Wii U exclusive in Japan. It's
Oh,
here
Fatal Frame?
digitally.
Fatal Frame?
Fatal Frame, yeah, Fatal
Fatal-
Frame. It's like Maiden of the Dark Water or something.
Does that
That's
not
what-
have a UK release?
I don't think so. Not
that on
physically, I don't believe. Yeah.
Okay. I need to get that too.
So, but yeah, I do have Axiom Verge. Actually, I bought 2 of those. They were only like $30, which for a
Yeah.
limited run set is like a game.
Yeah,
With
it's cheap.
some
Oh, yeah,
bonuses.
absolutely.
Super cheap. And I wanted to open one to see what was inside.
Mhm.
Because you don't, otherwise I would just keep it sealed. So I wound up with 2 of them.
I got lucky. I was at work when it was on sale, and I was busy with customers, and my buddy got me one.
Oh,
Thankfully,
nice.
thankfully,
I don't think that they're that hard to get now. I mean, they're a little expensive.
they've
because
gone
of
up, but
whatever.
they're on.
But,
eBay. They're
Yeah,
out
there's a
there.
lot of them out there. Yeah.
You could go buy one for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a sequel coming now.
Yes.
I've
heard.
talked about that on a few episodes. Have you guys played the game?
I have not
No,
played it, but I know
I
it's
haven't.
supposed to be good.
It is. If you like Metroid at all, like the
Mhm.
classic Metroid, it's the best one. It's probably the best Metroid game I've ever played. That's not Metroid. You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's really good. And the whole story about being made by a single guy or whatever, which comes up a lot nowadays, it seems like,
Mhm.
but that really sells it, helps sell it.
Interesting story behind the game, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the whole Wii U story, like that lawsuit with Ella Limited Run and all that.
Hey,
Bad-
yeah, like
Badlands.
who would
Yeah.
have thought, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Interesting stuff. So why don't you tell us a little bit about JP Switch Mania then? Like not just you specifically, but your whole empire. If
the
you want to
brand
call
now.
it your empire. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, I'm not a one-man show anymore, that's for sure. So
Yeah,
I guess
I
the
don't
quick
imagine.
history is, so the Switch came out, March 2017. I would say probably like around May, June. I'm just on Facebook scrolling, and I see an ad for a new website, it's called the Switch Effect. So I don't know if you've been following them, but they were brand new, and I emailed them because they were looking for reviewers, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting into the Switch. I kind of want to be, getting involved with the video game community. Let me reach out to them. So it was just one girl running the site, and then it was like one reviewer that she had. So she was like, okay, send me a sample. So I sent her Sonic Mania. I wrote up a review, and then she's like, okay, come on board. And within the first week, I went from going to be writing reviews to doing her marketing now. So I was doing her Instagram,
wow.
we were doing Twitter, and I was doing interviews because I realized, like, with my limited time with kids, I didn't have time to really play the games and give a fair review, but I really wanted to learn more about behind the scenes. So I said, why don't we start interviewing people? And during my time with the site, I think I did like over 100 interviews. So
Wow.
developers, publishers, just people in the industry, whatnot, YouTubers, and I really liked it. So I was with her for about 8 months. Then I went to another site, did the same thing, did interviews. Then at the same time, I was also starting to do interviews for Switch Player Magazine.
Okay.
It's a UK-based digital and print magazine. I was doing a monthly interview for them. And then finally, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time I start doing kind of like my own thing. And I had no name yet. I went on Twitter. I said, hey, guys, help me pick a name. I don't even know all the variations, but we somehow ended up with like Switch Mania. And then I just did JP Switch Mania. And from there, I had one friend that wanted to do reviews. I was getting codes because I was with the other site still. So I was getting those emails, and I said, hey, I have a code. You want to review it? And this is August 2018. Now we're in June 2020, and we have like a team of like 7 reviewers, and then I do the social media piece. I also do the playcast, so Switchmania playcast with 2 friends.
Yeah.
And it's just like I just eat, live, and breathe the Switch now, and like collecting just kind of kept going with it like this whole time. So I'm like 24/7 Switch. I mean, I really don't sleep. And my whole thing is like I just want to like kind of help the Switch community, just like know what's coming out, just help build relationships with like the developers and the publishers, and get all of us together just talking. And it's been a fun ride so far. So it's all just about the Switch, and really physical. Like I promote digital games, but like I'm a physical collector, so I like to let people know about all the limited games coming out, the retail games coming out, and showing what they look like when they're coming out and things like that. So that's a nutshell of what I do.
Nice.
I mean, the dedication is incredible.
Thank you.
Honestly, I mean, really, it really is.
Well, thank you.
John hears or JP when he sleeps hears the snap,
The
snap when he goes to sleep.
snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm just like, okay, what did I miss? And I start scrolling through everything, and then instantly I'm trying to tweet things out. But yeah, I mean, because it's like because the system's region free, so is the news. And just like we go to bed in the US, the UK is up 6 hours ahead. Then you've got Japan, you've got like every country that's like talking about the Switch, collecting for the Switch. So there's always something coming out.
I mean, it's news.
Yeah.
Which is
so.
Crazy.
Is it true that you have all the games?
Yeah. So to be fair, there's 3 games I don't own. And they're the 3 2K games that just came out. So BioShock, Borderlands, and the XCOM. I'm just waiting for a sale because 2K will go on sale.
Actually, just bought today.
Nice.
You mean Hunter has a game that JP does?
That I don't have.
Wow. My birthday's tomorrow, and I was like, you know what? I'm buying
Borderlands. Happy early
But
birthday.
You said you were going to use my Best Buy discount for that. I get reward points for your purchases,
Grandma bought it as my gift.
Oh, nice.
Along with what else we got here? Pokemon, Mystery Dungeon, which I can't wait to play, and Star Wars Pinball.
Nice.
So,
I have my pile of games that I haven't like put on the shelf yet, but it's the same thing.
Catalog my collection, so.
The worst was the Best Buy. So when my GCU ended, and I'm just like, I don't get 20% off anymore. I'm just like, paying full price is very hard.
This guy still is.
So here's a funny story for you, JP. So about 2 years ago, first of all, when a Best Buy guy walked up to me in the store and said, "Hey, you interested in GCU?" I'm thinking, just browsing, buddy. But actually, when he told it to me, he said it's $30 for 2 years, and you get 20% off all new games or all games.
Yep.
All new games because they sold used ones at the time. Yeah. So all new games. I'm thinking, well, hold on a second. Now, 20% of $60 is $12. So I got to buy 3 games, and the whole thing's paid for. I'm in. So I got in.
You're gonna buy it anyway.
Yeah, and I can't remember when this was. It had to be 2.5, maybe even 3 years ago. I was telling my buddy about this. And I said, look, it's the greatest deal under the sun. You got to sign up for this, whatever. So we're in Best Buy, and he goes to sign up, and he's going to buy the game and use my phone number to get the discount.
Yeah.
And I said, look, just sign up for the thing, whatever. So through some twist of fate, what wound up happening was, at least I think, there's no evidence for this, but this is what I think happened, is he went to sign up my friend, but he must have used my phone number or account or something. And I had just renewed like 2 months ago. So instead of having that 2-year cycle, it bumped it to like 4.
Oh my God.
And so I actually, JP, I have it until September of 2021. And
wow. You may be the only person.
Yeah, that's what I just told him yesterday. I was like, you're going to be like the last remaining guy of the Gamers Club.
They're going to be having a meeting and be like, can we cancel this thing yet?
Yeah,
no, this guy's got till 2021.
This guy's a legend. We can't cancel this.
So I'm with you because as soon as that goes away, I'm gonna have a
Yeah.
hard time buying stuff.
I mean, the best right now I have is Target's 5% because we have the red card, and even that's just like I could probably wait. And so now I look at game like I still try and get everything if I can like right away, but like certain games I know will always go on sale.
Oh, for
Wait
sure.
just
You can always
long enough.
tell which ones are going to be in bargain bins in 3
Yeah.
months.
So now I
Specifically, the ones that are not made by Nintendo will never.
Oh,
So
exactly. But then you also have to look now. It's like, okay, you get retail releases, but which ones are going to be limited retail releases that don't have that big following? And those ones I'll still grab up, which could be garbage, shovelware games.
Tiny
but
Troopers. I bought
Yeah.
that.
That's a great game. No,
Roller Coaster Tycoon I bought because everyone was rumoring that to be rare, and now it's
Well-
common as dirt.
well, Roller Coaster, you had the Katamari Damacy, and then you had the Atari collection that just like
Yeah,
all came out
yeah.
at the same time. And
Yeah, I remember that too.
yep,
Hunter, you got hook, line, and sinker on just about all those except Atari, I think.
Yeah,
That's the only one you didn't buy. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say I found it too, but I think I found like 4 or 5 copies around where I lived, and I was like, it's probably not that uncommon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's just Atari games. Paying $50, that's a little rough.
Yeah.
that's 150 Atari games.
It could be PlayAsia with the $300 Space Invaders.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Space Invaders, Darius.
Yeah, Darius.
Those collections are crazy.
I want that Darius collection though.
JP, you mentioned that your first review was Sonic Mania. Just before we get into some of the questions, what'd you give that game? How did you like that?
I liked it. So I don't even know if I gave a score at that point, but if I did, I probably would have given it an 8 out of 10. Just from what I remember playing, it was just a very solid game, and it was a good throwback to like the Sonic 2 for me, Sonic CD.
Yeah.
So I liked it a lot. I talked a little bit about the fake physical that they had, which was like the big box.
Which I just learned about
yesterday.
yesterday. I didn't know
Yeah.
that because I almost bought that yesterday, and I didn't. And he was like, "Yeah, it's just a code in there," and I was like, "What?"
You get a ring though. You get a code. You get the Sonic
figure
on
with
top
the
of the
Genesis.
Genesis.
I mean, which is cool, but at this point, it's reduced its value to me to about $20.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, they came out with Sonic Mania Plus with the art book, and then they
Right,
actually came out with
exactly.
Sonic Mania for $20.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, back then I was like, oh, I guess this is the only way we're gonna get the Sonic game, and then here we are now.
Good,
Well, I wound
I
up
agree-
buying
I
it
agree, though.
digitally.
Good game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super good.
Yeah.
Sonic 1 has always been my favorite. I like Sonic 2, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I don't know. I have played, but I don't know much about them.
Mhm.
But then Sonic CD, I've played quite a bit. It's like a really good. I'd say it's closest to Sonic CD than any of them. I think
Yeah.
it feels more like
Well,
Sonic
Sonic CD is the
Um,
best Sonic game, so
CD. It could be. Well, until Sonic Mania came out, I thought
Well,
Sonic Mania was super good. Like
Yeah.
it was really good. Yeah.
I remember the first time I played a Switch was at your house, Tyler, and I think we played Doom. I wanted to see Doom on the Switch
Oh,
yeah.
because I wasn't sold that it would run very well. Early in the lifespan, I was like, it's kind of ambitious. And when we played it, I was like, wow, this is impressive.
Yeah.
I remember being on a trip to Germany for work, and I brought the Switch along, and I was like, what do I want to play? I was in the mood for a first-person shooter, and there's not that many on the Switch.
Right,
But then you had Doom, and I had never played. I had played like old school PC Doom, back in the day, and I was only playing handheld, and I was just amazed. I was like, this is what the Switch can do, and people are kind of giving it crap a little bit, but
Yeah, right,
Doom was a
right.
perfect game. And then I remember my friend going like, well, have you seen it on the PS4? It's so much brighter and sharper. And I'm like, yeah, but it looks great already on the Switch. Like, I don't necessarily need it
Yeah.
any more than what
Yeah,
it
but
is.
I can play this in bed. Like-
Exactly. I was
Yeah.
playing this in a plane. Like
Like
that was awesome.
that is sold me on the Switch. You're telling me I could lay in bed and play,
Yeah.
like
Borderlands.
Borderlands. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, previous to that, the only version of Borderlands Mobile was Borderlands 2 on the Vita, which is a terrible, terrible version.
I
It
was
runs at like
yeah.
it runs at like 15 frames.
I think
me,
Doom on the Switch is probably the biggest what's the word? Like I don't want to call it like a miracle, but you know what I mean? Like the biggest wow. No way.
Yeah.
Well, we have
And then
a
The
section
Witcher
on
came
that.
out and
Games
stuff,
that we were
but-
surprised that got releases.
And it's super competent. Like I have it on Xbox One X or Xbox One, and I have the X now, and I played it in 4K. Gorgeous game.
Yep.
But when you're playing it on a screen this big, It really does not look bad at all.
No, it doesn't. I have no problem. I mean, we've talked about this. I primarily play my Switch in the handheld mode.
Yep. I'm the same way.
The only reason I ever hook it up to a TV is to record game footage for some reason or something.
Yeah.
So
Doom, I was just going to say, by the way, Doom is probably not a game you want to play on the TV on the Switch. It does show a little bit of rough around the edges on the TV. Still fine, totally playable. But
you can kind of see it blowing up. That
its real appeal is that handheld mode. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember like when they revealed the Switch and they're telling you could play on the TV and you can just take it right out and play it on the go. And I'm thinking, oh my God, those Final Fantasy games, the Kingdom Hearts type of games that I was always stuck at home playing, I can literally just take it anywhere. And that was a big appeal for everyone. But it's so great though. I mean, like I have little kids. I don't want to be sitting in front of the TV. I want to be on the couch. I want to be upstairs. And just being able to just take any game that I would only play on the TV now anywhere I want to go. I mean, that is just phenomenal.
Here's what I think happened. I think the Switch is what they wanted the Wii U to be.
Yes.
But maybe at the time they just, for some reason, hadn't figured it out or whatever, but they knew that they couldn't leave the Wii for another, 5 years. I mean, so I think they were just like, well, we have to put something out. And I really think that's the case of what happened. Because they were rumoring the what was it, the Nintendo, what did they call it before it was announced as the NX.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were rumoring that into 2015. I mean, 3 years into the Wii U's life cycle.
Right.
So I think they just knew they had to put a stopgap, and unfortunately it just didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
I also think they thought the title of Wii would sell it too, which it didn't.
Yeah.
Nope.
Good job with the Switch now.
Yeah, they've made up for it.
Yeah.
The Switch, I think, because I love the DS, 3DS so much, it's the perfect successor to that.
Yeah. Are you surprised that it's not backwards compatible with the 3DS?
Yes, and I'm still mad about it.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all.
I'm still upset.
I'm not surprised.
I was championing a 3DS adapter for the Wii U in 2013. 7 years now I've been waiting, and I still ain't got it. Meanwhile, Vita puts out Vita TV, and it fails like shit. Still mad.
I'm not surprised at all that it doesn't play 3DS games,
Mm-hmm.
and Wii U would make way more sense than Switch would, I think, because how do you do dual screens on the Switch? You know what I mean? A lot of those games
split the screen down the middle or horizontally somehow.
Yeah, you'd have to do like that. What's that grip thing? This flip grip. You could do it that way.
Yeah. You can do it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be
true. Yep.
Okay.
Something like that.
Actually, that's really the only way you could do it, because even if you did it on Wii U, there are games that have gameplay on both screens that are like in continuation of each other.
Right.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, if Nintendo's listening, there's an idea for you. I'm waiting for my royalty check. Shiggy, I'm waiting for my royalty check.
All right. Let's get to the questions. There were a few questions from the Nintendo Switch Physical Game Collectors group, which is a pretty cool group. If you're not in it, it is. It's
a great group.
Yeah, it's a cool one to be in. It's where I find out about 75 to 80% of all the sales that exist.
Yeah, just about, because I mean, people in there they're right on it.
Oh yeah.
Plus all the limited stuff, the new games coming out and all that.
I mean, that's how I keep up with all that.
Mm-hmm. So, you know what? I every time we do an episode, I forget to mention this. But we'll do it this one because of all people, I think at least the people from the Switch Collectors group would understand, or would at least have the best shot. There is, I think I've probably mentioned it in maybe 1 or 2 episodes, but we were doing initially a contest of sorts for anybody who could guess what the name of the podcast actually means. And nobody, and I keep forgetting to mention it because I don't even think about it anymore.
Uh-huh.
So I want to just, before we get into the questions, let's start that contest again. It's still going on. The reward was going to be a $10 eShop or whatever gift card. But since it's the physical collectors group, we could do like an Amazon gift card or Best Buy or something. Whatever the winner wants. Got to be in the U.S. though, I think. I don't know how that works internationally, but anyway, if you can tell us what the podcast name means, because it's not stupid for no reason. That much I can tell you. All right, so to the questions. First question, question for the show. How did each of you first get into collecting video games? That is from Peyton Mallory, who I happen to know in real life.
I think
that's my
her a little more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say a little more than just friends here.
I'll start. How did each of you first get into collecting video games? So, I started collecting in about 2010. I graduated high school at that point, and I had money for my graduation that was supposed to probably be for college, but in the grand scheme of things,
video games came first.
What's a couple $1,000 going to do for a college? You know what I mean? It's nothing.
Yes, I see your reasoning.
Yeah. So I had a Super Nintendo at the time. I had, some older stuff. It was kind of always had appealed to me a little bit. My brother dropped off. One day I come home, I was maybe in 6th, 7th grade, or 5th, 6th, 7th grade, somewhere in there. And there's a Super Nintendo just on my bed. And it was my oldest brother's Super Nintendo. He just was done with it. So he just put it on my bed and gave it to me. And then just from there, it kind of evolved into sort of discovering all these really cool old games. And then when I finally had money to start buying them, which again was supposed to be for college, but I didn't use it for college. I just started buying stuff. I started learning all like eBay every day, reading stuff, Nintendo Age, all these forums, Atari Age. And just kind of like engulfing myself in this collecting scene.
Rest in peace, Nintendo Age.
Yeah, no kidding. Which is actually where I found or eventually met Hunter and pretty much most of the people I talked to.
Oh, we'll get to that. Yeah,
at least online anyway. And then from there, I just kept buying. And at one point, when I was in college, actually, I wasn't working, so I was going to college full time, which I probably could have worked, but who wants?
Who wants to?
I didn't have any bills or anything. I still lived at home, so. But I would buy and sell and then collect at the same time. So I'd buy a lot of games and keep 5 and sell the rest because they were doubles or whatever, and just kind of make ends meet and still collect at the same time. Now that I'm an adult and I have more money to spend, I'm actually way more frugal with it. So it's kind of strange, but and I've been collecting pretty much ever since, even though I have dropped it down. Like there was a time where I was going to Goodwill every day.
See, that's me now. The difference between you and me is I'm a completionist and you're not at all.
Yeah, and there was one point about 7 or 8 years ago where I was just like, you know what? It's cool to have a wall of stuff, but I'm just not playing this. And so I sold like maybe half or a third or something of it. And then I just kind of slowed down, and I'm actually probably more active doing it now than I have been in years. So I'm doing a lot of Genesis right now.
Nice.
Actually, we'll talk. I think there's a question about collecting
coming up.
Systems. Yeah, collecting for other systems coming up. But anyway, I guess to answer that question in short, it just kind of evolved from the day that Super Nintendo was on my bed when I got home that day. It just kind of
interesting story. Yeah. JP, you can go next.
Okay. So for me, I was never a big collector. I mean, I don't think people would believe me now, but I just was never a big collector. Right. It wasn't until I started working at Babbage's, which then became GameStop. The employee discount is kind of what did it for me, because all of a sudden you get your shipments in, you get first look at the games, you get I know it was 15% by the time I left GameStop. I want to say it could have been up to like 25% when I first started. I forget the exact percentage, but it was so easy to start getting games for. So I was shelving PS1 games, Dreamcast games had just come out like about a year ago from when I started, but I just started collecting a little bit, and I wasn't a full completionist. I was just really just buying what I liked, which was JRPGs, so I was trying to go for all of those. And then when the PSP came out, I was heavily into that. I was just loving those cases. I went for what I thought was a complete set, and then I realized I only have like a quarter of the whole collection.
There's more than you think.
Yeah, I have 200, and I think there's like 700-800 games.
I was gonna say it's somewhere between like 600 and 750, I think.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I have no idea how I missed them. Maybe by the time I left working there, it was still going strong. And then I got out of gaming. I was collecting for the PS4 casually. surprisingly, in 2016, I sold my comic book collection and I went into retro gaming. So I was going for GameCube, NES, Super Nintendo, the original Xbox, had good sized collections. Got tired of retro, sold a lot of those. Then I went for the Switch, and now I can say I'm a completionist because I'm going for a worldwide set that supports English at least.
Okay, so that's your stipulation.
That's my thing, and I have started now like a Japanese only collection, but that I go more casual. Like if it's on super sale on like Amazon Japan or Play Asia,
I
I'll
was
pick it
gonna
up.
say, I mean, there's just so many.
Yeah, but I won't go for like Japan only, like day one, like visual novel game stuff like that. It really has to be like on sale. So, but yeah,
I mean,
other than that, it's full sets for me.
I mean, you're the only guy that's gonna have a full set anytime for a long time, I'd imagine. I mean, I know there's other people out there that have a lot, but
yeah,
there's just some you're not gonna get.
I just don't even know how it blew up like this so fast. I mean, this came out in 2017, and it's just like first year was like, we have I could talk about it later, but like myself and one of the co-hosts on the podcast were doing a book or for each year of the Switch for physical releases. So little plug, sorry, but Switch Collector Volume 1.
Yeah, I actually do want to get that.
Is that out now? It's out now?
You can pre-order it. We're waiting for the shipment to come in to the warehouse, and then we're going to ship them all out. So it's switchopedia.com. You can pre-order it. And we're going to do every single year, and probably from like year 2 and on, we have to split them into like 2 books because of the amount of games. But I mean, year 1 is like 90-something games, super manageable. And then you go into like the 200s now, 300s a year, and it's just, and I mean, it's just, year 1 was like that nice year that everyone was like, I can collect for the Switch. It's not too bad.
Not too bad. It's not too bad.
And then you have the limited companies, bringing on like games that aren't coming into stores, and all of a sudden the collection just explodes. So so I just feel like I'm just down the rabbit hole. That's the joke we have, is that I'm just so far down the rabbit hole. I just got to keep going at this point.
That's what's happening to me, which is a problem.
Well, you're not alone. So what about you?
All right. Well, so I started collecting in probably early 2011. I was still in high school. I was in my junior year, and I had just gotten into I'd been on YouTube since it started when I was real young, but I had started looking up video game stuff, like games I played, stuff like that. And then somehow I stumbled upon some of the real old OG video game collectors, and I was like, I can do this.
The Pete Doors of the world.
Yeah, Pete Doors, stuff like that. And I'm like, I can do this. I can go out to garage sales and flea markets and do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, so that kind of started it. And so at the time, we actually had a Play and Trade in town, which is the best game store ever. Rest in peace, my God. Mm-hmm. Miss them so. But that was right by where I lived. I mean, I was going there every day after school because they used to get so much stuff. And, I was buying all this stuff. And then, I started learning about Nintendo Age, Atari Age, Facebook groups, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then I met Tyler on Nintendo Age. He was trying to buy something from me. And then, it's kind of evolved from there. I got out of collecting around 2014. I graduated high school. I was getting ready to go to college. And I mean, I had a massive collection. I was almost done with the NES license set. I was only missing 40 titles or something like that. I was real close to that. I had a huge Sega Master System, Genesis collection, Saturn collection. God, I wish I hadn't sold that. I had
retirement you're talking about.
Yeah. I had a near complete N64 set. And it got, I was like, you know what? I looked around one day and I was like, it just takes up so much space.
Yep.
I don't play any of it. And I was like, it's literally thousands of dollars just sitting here. Let's put it on eBay. Mm-hmm. So I sold it all. And between 2014 and 2017, I wasn't really into collecting. I mean, I had an Xbox One, I had my PS4.
Yeah.
And I bought the games I wanted to play, but I never said I was collecting.
Right.
And so 2018 rolls around and I'm kind of getting back into the collecting real heavily, this, that, and the other. And I go to Too Many Games convention in Pennsylvania. I was going with some of my buddies because I went once in 2015. So I went 2018, and at the time, this was getting around the time I was like, all right, the Switch is kind of selling me a little bit,
Mhm.
and I was like, all right, if I don't spend a bunch of money at the convention, when I'm done, I'll walk over to the Target and I'll just buy one. I was
Mhm.
like, I'm on board. I'll buy one. So it's the last day of the convention, like 20 minutes before the doors close, and me and my buddy are looking at this booth or whatever, and he's like, "There's a Switch like behind the counter and like underneath this thing." So I was like, "Oh, it's probably not for sale though." And so, but I had to ask, and I was like, "How much is the Switch?" And it's still sitting behind me up there. You probably can't see it, but the guy pulled it out, and he was like, 280 with no tax. And I was like, "All right, what's the deal though?" And no, he sold. My buddy got a brand new Hot Wii U at a flea market.
Wow.
$80 the week after it came out.
Wow.
But so I was like, okay, I'm in 280. I mean, if I went to Target, it was gonna be like 325 after tax.
Right.
So I bought that, and then I went to GameStop and I bought Cave Story, Mario Kart 8, Mario Odyssey, and I thought I bought one more. I'd have to look back at my videos. I can't remember. But I bought those, and I was really into those. Mario Odyssey like blew my mind because my favorite Mario games previously are the Mario Galaxy games.
Yep.
Not a popular opinion, but I love those games.
Mhm.
And I didn't think anything would beat those, but Mario Odyssey was so good.
Oh yeah.
It might be the best Mario game ever. I mean, honestly, it's really up there. And then, after that, I was like, I just fell in love with the Switch. I started picking up ports of old games and, some of the new titles that were coming out, and I just fell in love with it. And it's gone from there. And I don't see myself not collecting for it anytime soon, which is weird to say that I'm collecting for a modern system
Yep.
because I don't really consider that. Like, I have PS4 and Xbox One. I still don't consider that I'm collecting those.
Right.
But for the Switch, I'm definitely
yeah.
collecting.
I feel the Switch has born so many collectors now.
It has. It's really crazy. How,
And nobody knows what it is. It's like you open the case, maybe there's some kind of smell that like a pheromone, and all of a sudden you feel you have to buy everything. But it's like all these people are like, I wasn't the same story. Like I was buying games casually, but now I'm collecting. I don't even know where all the games came from over time. Like I'm just buying them.
I mean, I was looking at my shelf earlier when I was rearranging it. I was like, I don't know when I bought some of these. I didn't even remember I had them. Like, where did it come from?
Yep.
What it is it's when you put your tongue on the cartridge, that taste. That
we all did it. That's what it was.
It must just trigger it.
Talk about marketing. They must have fired the Wii U marketing team and hired
we should make a card taste bad, but it'll get everyone to buy games. All right, let's do it.
Well, and it did, obviously. Whatever they've done, I mean, I had so many doubts about this thing. Like, the Wii U was a failure. I was like, there's no way they're going to be able to sell this thing. The Wii U was such a disaster. And the first, 6 months it was out, I wasn't that interested. And then it was like, this game's coming to the Switch. This game's coming to the Switch. This game's coming to the Switch. Like, I was like, what have they done? It was almost the way the 3DS was. I don't know if y'all were around when the 3DS came out, really. I think you were, Tyler. When that thing launched, it was a disaster. It had nothing good. It had Pilot Wings Resort, which I love. Still waiting for the Switch version, Nintendo. And it had Steel Diver and 3 crap games. And
Steel
the first year
Nintendo history, probably.
When's the Switch reboot? But no, the 3DS went through the same problem. The first year, it had nothing worth playing on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, the Vita's going to destroy this thing. It's absolutely going to destroy it. And then something happened and the 3DS just exploded.
Mm-hmm. Probably Pokemon or something.
Pokemon came out. That was a big one.
A Link Between Worlds, maybe.
Bravely Default. That was a big one at the time that came out.
Mario 3D Land.
Mario 3D Land, Link Between Worlds. Yeah, that was a big
Ocarina was a great.
Ocarina was the first one that was all right. You might have something here.
That was the second Zelda game I ever beat, and that's the first way I played Ocarina. I never played it on 64.
First way I also played Ocarina, actually.
Yeah. And that was awesome.
And a great remake.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the Switch version.
Yeah.
Boy, that'd be something.
They need to do it already. Come on.
For me, I'd rather see it. I might be the only one, but I would much rather see that Skyward Sword remake than.
Yes. Well, the Skyward was only with the Wiimote, I think.
Yeah.
That's the traditional way to play it.
Yeah, if they did that, that'd be really. I enjoyed it with the Wii controls. It was frustrating sometimes, but for the most
Of
part, I
course.
loved that game. But if they made it the traditional play style,
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of people would like that. It's a little handholdy too, but other than that, it is
See,
what it is.
I always find it interesting that there's like this divisiveness of, oh, the Switch just has so many ports and remasters, and not like original games that are worth getting. And to me, it's like,
That's just
bring
such a
on-
blatant lie.
well, I'm just thinking like, just bring on the ports, bring on the remasters, because
Yeah,
one, there's a
me
good chance
too.
people haven't played them before, and even if they had, you could play it on the go now. You could play it on the Switch. Like Wind Waker, bring it on the Switch.
See,
I think
that's
that'd
my
be
argument.
perfect.
I don't know why everybody like hates on like all these ports and stuff. Like, yes,
Yeah.
give them all to me. Port everything.
Yep, exactly.
Port it all. Every game.
Like we're getting Burnout Paradise later this
I
month.
know. I can't wait.
And Burnout Revenge is probably one of like my top 5 games of all time. Like I just,
it's amazing.
I was on Xbox, then I played it on the 360, loved it, and we're getting Paradise, and I like Paradise, but I'm like, we're getting a Burnout game, and people are upset that's $50. Maybe it is a little expensive.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
like,
a little upset it's $50 because the other versions were not.
but we have it. We're gonna have it on the Switch, and to me, it's just like, oh my god, there's hope of like Burnout revival almost.
Right,
So,
right. With that Burnout collection.
oh, be so happy.
That would
Yeah,
be something.
I'm perfectly fine with what they're doing for the Switch. Like I don't mind them bringing games from other consoles because now it's on the go. Like that to me is like,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, let's just say it. If half of these, if most of these ports weren't on the Switch, I'd probably never play them.
exactly. Yep.
Honestly,
Same with me.
I probably just would never play them.
But even now, even if it comes out, like I have a PS4 still, even if I know it's coming for both, I will wait for the Switch one.
Yes,
Even if
yes.
it's lower graphics, even if there's like maybe even less content, I'd still rather play it on the Switch.
So I buy the way I do, like collect between because it's multi-generational. If it's a PS4 exclusive, obviously I get it if it's something I want.
Yeah.
If it's on the PS4 and the Switch, I'm gonna get the Switch version.
Yep.
If it's on all three, I'm gonna get the Switch version.
hmm
I'm gonna get the Switch version no matter what.
Yep.
Basically, unless it's like an exclusive. And I was gonna say same for Xbox One. I really only buy the exclusives, but there's only like 5, so I pretty much have the whole collection.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. Xbox One is not good. This is an anti-Microsoft podcast.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the story there.
Your poor Xbox. All right, let's go to the next question. Rank your favorite systems to collect for. So I thought about this. Why don't we just do top 3?
Sure.
Keep
Yeah,
it kind of simple. Maybe let's do we'll all do 3, and then we'll all do 2, and then we'll all do 1. I'll start for 3. I haven't really thought about this in advance, but I would say for 3, my top 3, I'd probably put it Switch at 3. I like the I love. My favorite thing about the Switch is that it's really shown me how good indie games can be.
Yes, me too.
Before this generation, I don't even know if I played an indie game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to
I
probably.
played a couple, but they were mainly on PC.
Yeah. But then Dead Cells changed my life, and then from there on out, it was
I
It was
remember
the-
you. I
yeah,
remember
it
you
was all-
championing that game.
what'd you say?
I remember you championing that game when it was
Yeah.
out.
Well, what's just a quick aside. I bought that game and I bought Axiom Verge at the same time.
Yep.
And
really?
I bought it at GameStop, and the guy goes, "Dead Cells, huh? Good taste." I was like, "All right, buddy, whatever." I don't know. So
I don't know, but whatever.
So I was playing it, and I was expecting a Castlevania type game, and I'm like, "Okay, this is pretty cool." And then I died, and I had to restart, and I was like,
Oh no.
"Hold on a second." So I've got to restart every time I die. I played
Impossible.
Axiom Verge, and then I loved Axiom Verge. And then I gave Dead Cells another shot, and I understood the game loop a lot better of unlocking things on every run, and then progressing that way. And God, probably one of the best games I've ever played. That's a great game. So anyway, Switch. It's number 3 for me. JP, why don't you go next? And then Hunter.
Okay.
I'm saying.
3, I would say, only because I'm getting back into it now, I'm going to say the original Xbox. Because I didn't
Hey,
I
I was just doing that.
I did not appreciate it when it first came out. I was
I still
GameCube,
don't.
PS2.
Yep,
And
me
then
too.
when I went back into retro gaming, I had a very big Xbox, like 200 plus games. I actually,
Wow.
I would say in September, I sold them all except for like 5 games. and now all of a sudden I just sold my Xbox, my original one, 3 weeks ago. About 4 days later, I bought one again because I was like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. And now I'm building up the collection. I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm up to 30 games already. And I'm like, I really like the Xbox, and I did not appreciate it back then, but I do now. And it has a good library. So
It's really,
I will say, of systems to collect right now, that's one you should do because it's cheap.
Exactly.
unbelievably cheap.
So if you're
Like-
wanting to start collecting, original Xbox isn't a bad place
Yeah.
to start.
like,
When
there's
you
not
start
too many
talking,
expensive games.
Right. And I unfortunately, I still don't appreciate the original Xbox. It does nothing for me.
Yeah.
I
it's
don't like the
uh,
controller. I just think the PS2 is better. Okay, it has better graphics. I'll give you that. But you can't beat a PS2 controller. Sorry.
That's true.
But
yeah, I know you disagree, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I mean, I didn't have a PS2 growing up, and I had an Xbox and a GameCube. That was my yin and my yang.
You were the
Um,
opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a handful of games for Xbox that were good. But it's pretty much like 75% of that library is like totally hidden, and nobody. And like 2 months ago, right when COVID started, I started collecting for Xbox, and I went from like 20 games to like 50 in like 2 weeks, and it cost me like $100. You know what I mean?
I mean,
And,
they're like $1 everywhere.
Yeah. And there's a lot of games on there that I had never heard of, and I played like Otagi or
Yeah.
I tell you.
started playing that. I bought a bunch of first-person shooters that are like PC and Xbox only. That's the only
Yep.
way you can play them.
I'm telling you, to play
Um,
Black. That has some of the best graphics on the Xbox.
I have, but well, that's the other thing about the Xbox. Not only the graphics, but the HD, like the way you can make that thing look is really something.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what you're doing, yeah.
I'll give it that, but
Yeah,
you can
setup.
get some PS2 games looking pretty good.
That's true.
Yeah,
Some
I
held up really, really well.
I remember getting SSX at launch on the
God, I love
PS2,
that game.
and I remember going around the turn, and I'm like, that looks so real. Like,
Oh
the-
yeah, me too. Well, I mean, I was born in '95, so growing up, I had N64, PS1.
Yep.
The leap, like
Yeah.
to PS2 and GameCube. It was mind blowing.
Oh yeah.
It was. I mean, I remember. I was like, oh my god, like fully 3D, like real voice acting. That's not crap. Good animation. I was like, this is just ridiculous. And it plays DVDs. Come on.
Uh-huh.
All
I'm
for
pretty sure
the-
that was my first DVD player.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was ours. I mean, and all for the low price, $299.99.
What are you working for Sony?
Yeah, I'm not Bernie Stolar here.
All right, so what's your number 300? You didn't say it.
I would put probably PSP right now at number 3. I'm really into that.
Mm-hmm.
I had one growing up, and like now it's really kicking me. Like, I think I could complete the set. There are some expensive games out there, yes. Lots of RPGs that are not super expensive, but you're gonna have to find them at like conventions or game stores or something. You're not just walk into them. But I think it's doable, and I love the system. Much like I love the Vita.
Mhm.
Like the Vita's a handheld PS3. I mean, the PSP's almost a handheld PS2. It looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna put PSP at number 3.
Nice.
choice.
Yeah. I'll say for my number 2. God, this is hard, isn't it?
I already got my 3.
These are the top
I think-
results.
Oh, Google
What?
thought I was dead.
I
Google
thought that was
was
my
talking
phone for
about
a second.
I guess number 2, I would probably. God, oh man. See, it depends on the kind of mood you catch me in. You know what I mean? Like, I could
Right.
say,
Well, that's the thing. This answer could be varying at different times.
yeah.
Mm.
I'll say, I think the Genesis probably is number 2, and just because the God, there's a lot of good games on the Genesis, but also because you can find them. Most of the time, they have the box and the manual, so it's not a chore to collect.
Right.
I'll give you that. The boxes are very pleasing to collect because they hold up and they're out there.
Yeah. Except for
I
the
mean,
cardboard ones, those things are a joke.
I'm really at the point that I'm like, ugh, loose Genesis game. Get away.
Yeah.
You don't
I've
have
been
the
that way for a long
box.
time. I mean,
I
the
mean,
loose Genesis games are like they're like
there's
the
just
plague.
there's something
you know what
about
I mean?
them. They don't look good like NES and Super Nintendo games do. They
Right.
just don't.
And then
Gotta have fun
I've
off.
been on a little bit of a Genesis kick lately. I bought a handful of games in the past few weeks. It kind
You
of took
just
over for Xbox,
haven't-
and
Yeah, you happened to buy one from me that was quite expensive.
I did. Hunter got me a really good one. It was Crusader of Senti, which is like the.
It is the rarest Genesis game, I would say.
It probably is, yeah. But it's like a Zelda.
Rarer than Lucia.
It's like a Zelda clone, and Zelda's it's one of my favorite franchises ever. And and I have all the games, and there's a few games that are like clones of Zelda games, and that was one of them. And I was like, that one, I'd really like to have that. So finally, when he decided he wasn't going for a full Genesis collection, he sold it.
Ah, nice.
I still think it could be doable, but getting Senti back now, I don't know how I'm going to do that.
That's a tough one, yeah.
Well, that's okay though. It's okay. I can do the Intellivision set next.
I'm in the middle of playing it, by the way.
Oh yeah. How is that?
I'll say this. It's fine, but Link to the Past, it is not. You know what I mean? Like there's a really special quality to a Link to the Past. This game is it's good. It's a good game. There's nothing wrong with it.
If you only had a Genesis, this would have been acceptable.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like Genesis games that get compared to Super Nintendo games, like Hyperstone Heist and Turtles in Time,
right,
or whatever. For the most part, the Genesis counterpart, it has its pluses. Like I've really grown to like Castlevania Bloodlines, but it doesn't play at all like Castlevania 4. But I love them. I love it just as much. This one, even though it's not quite apples to apples, they're not in the same series or anything. It's a fine game, but it's not a Link to the Past.
I would like to point out the hilarity in the fact that the main character's name is Corona, and I got this game like right as this shit was starting.
I had no idea that was the case. I just started playing it. And there are 3 save files on the game. Mind you, this was about 2 weeks ago, right? We're in full-blown coronavirus pandemic. The guy's name is Corona, and I'm thinking somebody's save file's name was Corona, and I'm like, there's just no way this could be real. You know what I mean? There's no way that the odds are so. So I sent a picture of it to one of my Facebook group, the one that Hunter's and a couple other buddies, and I said, guys, you're not going to believe this. There's a save file with the name Corona on here. I don't know what's going on. Well, it turns out that the main character's name is actually Corona. So, but even then, still, that's
before
pretty.
I knew that, though, I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Like, I was laughing so hard. I was like, "There's no way!" Like, I bought this from like some 60-year-old dude in the middle of North Carolina living in an RV. Like, there's no way he put this on and named it Corona.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah. So, anyway, so yeah, number 2 for me, Genesis.
All right. So number 2 for me would be the PSP. Just because I would say before anything, that was my biggest collection. And I thankfully collected all the, like, what I think are the rarer games, minus like 1 or 2. So I think I have those kind of like taken out already. And now it's pretty much like sports games and maybe like some random platformers. But again, I have 200 and there's so many that I have no idea what I'm missing even.
I'll tell you one you should look out for because I know it's going to be expensive.
I'll tell you if I have it.
Driver 76.
I'm tempted to just get off the camera right now and run to my shelf because I'm like, I feel like I have it, but that
game's getting really, really hard to get. I found. You can go look, man. Go ahead. I bought that at a Goodwill for $3.
What's so rare about it? What's like the?
I mean, it's not super expensive yet, but when I bought it at Goodwill, there were none on eBay and none sold. And I still think I'll look it up right now. I have eBay open right here.
I have no idea how, but I don't have that game.
I'm gonna look it up right now. I bet there's probably less than 5 copies on eBay right now.
I must have had that like in my hold drawer when I was working there because I remember seeing it. Now you know what I'm going to be doing tonight.
There is 1 copy on eBay, and it's $53.
That's not too bad.
But I don't know if that's actually what it sells for. Yeah, well, one went on bid for 20. It sells for about 20, but there's only been like 10 copies sold complete in 4 months.
That's crazy.
Not super common. I would look out for it if you see it.
All
Just
right,
wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't know anything about PSP. Nothing.
Yeah, I know. You're not up to date.
No, I know that it for a time it was the only way you could play Rondo of Blood.
Yes.
But
Castlevania collection.
But now that thing's everywhere. So.
True,
that's
but I still want the PSP.
It's a great handheld. It really is. I mean,
I
so
had a
many.
Vita for a short while, but that's
It was
it.
the first time I played Siphon Filter, but not the. I don't know if it was the Dark Mirror one
I
or.
just bought Dark Mirror.
But I think that was the second one.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah, by accident. I might have the other one too, actually.
Yeah, I forget what the other one was. But I think that's the one that I played. But oh my god, I remember it being so good. I'm like, I never play this, but it looked beautiful on
Right.
on the PSP. So
Again, another case of I swore that it was going to beat the DS because another case of the DS kind of sucked ass the first couple of years, and I was like, PSP's got this. There's no way.
uh-huh.
No. Right down the fucking tube, just like the Vita.
So what's your number 2?
The Vita.
Oh, good choice.
It's funny. I'm a huge Sony fan. Other than the PS1, I don't really like the PS1. Sorry. It has
You know
its
what's
games that I
PS1?
like. No,
Oh.
it has its games that I do love.
Yeah.
But I'm just not that into it. But the Vita. So I remember I bought a Vita when it came out. $400 for this damn thing. Expensive as shit.
Is that with an SD card or without?
No, that is with no SD card.
Oh gosh.
Which, by the way, they're still just as expensive as ever.
I would imagine that's going to be like the.
It's gonna be impossible.
What's that? What's the word I'm looking for? That's the barrier to entry for PS
it really-
Vita is going to be
really
that. Yeah.
It really is. I mean, they're so limited, and GameStop, doesn't really carry Vita stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Sad. I mean, I remember getting it and playing it, and I remember getting Gravity Rush.
Yep.
And like, I don't remember what else was out at the time, but I know Gravity Rush was like the killer app. And then Tyler, you knew me when I was going through my Vita phase. I mean, I had like every NIS America game special edition.
Somehow you got me to buy one. I don't even
Right.
know how that happened.
Right? I told you because I can sell it because
I
it's
think
good.
I bought if I remember right, didn't I buy the white one?
Yeah, you had the white one.
Yeah, I thought the white one was pretty cool looking, and we bought Demon Gaze at the same time.
Yeah. Demon Gaze is still one of my favorite games on the Vita. Sorcery Saga, I love that game too. I mean, it's just something about Sony. They've always been a bastion for the JRPG ever since PS1.
Yep.
And Xbox has never had them, and it's still true.
Yeah, you can probably count on your hand how many like JRPGs Xbox has gotten over.
I
the
literally think on the 360 there's like 4.
Yeah.
I have Tales of Vesperia, I
Yep.
have Eternal Sonata, and there's only a couple other ones. I mean, they just don't get these games.
Yeah.
And that's why I've been a Sony fan for so long, because I love JRPGs.
Yep.
And it's nice that the Switch is getting most of them now.
Oh yeah.
But before that, Sony was the way to go, and I think that's always what's drawn me to Sony. So I'm going Vita. I want
Yeah,
that
I could
full
see
set.
myself buying a Vita again, because there's
Yeah.
that's probably one of those libraries that has a lot of just really unknown stuff. Because stuff's been coming out, it still comes out, right? Doesn't it? Limited Run
Well,
still do?
Limited Run is
I
like
think
carrying
Limited Run
the system.
themselves have done over like 600 games for the Vita.
Jeez.
I mean, its library is huge, and there's
Yeah.
some really rare games.
And they're stopping They stopped making the
In
cartridges,
North
right?
America, they did. So
Yeah.
Asia, so like that's why East Asia Soft is still able to produce Vita games, is because they can still get access to the
Mm.
cards. But
It's
like East Asia Soft and Limited Run Games carrying that system. From-
I mean,
from
Limited
like-
Run literally kept the thing alive for years
Yeah.
alone.
Still-
Which
I think they have like a few more. I think they were releasing.
they do. There's a couple more coming out, and
Yeah.
then I remember reading an interview. The owner of Limited Run did an interview sometime last year, I think, because they were
Mhm.
asking him about like what you're playing after the Vita's done, and he said they're going to start making PS3 games.
Yeah.
So, will I go down that rabbit hole? Unfortunately, probably. I'm probably going to start on number 1 and try and get them all,
Beginning.
which is tough. But I missed the
That's
Switch
like a
from the
cult
beginning, so
following.
I didn't even try for that.
Mm-hmm.
That system has a huge cult following, doesn't it?
But
Yeah, the Vita.
Oh,
my buddy
Well,
Nick.
That's kind of an oxymoron, a huge cult following. It definitely has a cult following.
my buddy Nick, only guy I know, and it might be, I don't know who else does, but he has a complete Vita set.
Whew.
He just finished it like 3 weeks ago.
That's awesome.
It
That's
is-
not going to be an easy one to get every game for.
Well, I mean, GameStop doesn't even have them now, and
Yeah.
who's selling them?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you walk into a game store, they might have 3, maybe.
Yep.
I mean, it's even more pitiful than the Wii U, which is sad. But no, love the Vita. It's really near and dear to my heart. I wish it would have done better.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Vita's number 2.
Yeah. Okay, so number 1, this is tough. So it's not as tough because I was trying to figure out if I wanted to put the Sega Saturn on this list or not because I really
I'm
like
still
collecting
debating
Saturn.
to make that my number 1, but I can't afford anything for it. So
Yeah, it's super fun to collect for because it's so hard. You know what I mean? Like every game is like oh my God, like there's a copy of NBA Jam right there. I can't believe it. You know.
I'm telling you, I've been in the outlet. I'm like, oh my God, Madden 96 for the Saturn. And at this point, at this point, it's like, oh my God, a Saturn game.
Yeah. Funny enough, I found mine at a Goodwill. That's where I got mine, was at Goodwill.
Yeah, I remember that.
But anyway, I'm not going to say Saturn, but that might be number 4.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say number 1 probably be Super Nintendo. That was the one that I obviously it was what got me into collecting, but it's also got one of the best libraries ever. And getting those games in their boxes when you can do it, it's super crazy expensive nowadays. But back in the day, I mean, it's just something really special about a complete Super Nintendo game. I always loved it.
They do,
and the games are really good to boot. So
nice. Well,
Yeah.
I guess for me, probably have to go with the Switch.
I was gonna say the Apple Pippin.
Yeah, I was like, I could say the Amiga maybe. No,
Amiga
looking for
CD
the Stadia,
32.
actually.
I mean, this is the first system I've ever gone for a complete set. It's the first system that's ever made me feel part of
Ambitious.
a video game community. Now I have a channel and social media following just around the Switch. So
I mean, when it comes to Switch, you're a known person now.
I don't know how that happened.
Everyone knows who you are.
Yeah, I think in the group I got lucky because when I joined the group or I found it, it had like 600 members. We're up to like 7,000 plus now.
I mean,
Yeah.
me and Tyler have been in that group for a couple years now, probably.
Yeah,
I remember it was relatively small at the time.
Yeah, and I was like,
It's
oh,
really
we all know each other. Like the same people are always commenting, and now it's just like, it exploded, which makes sense.
Every day, it's like, who are these people?
Yep.
But
yeah, I can't stop thinking about the Switch, playing the Switch, collecting for it. So that's got to be my number 1 because I'm hopefully in this for the long haul, and I want to have a complete set when it's all done, minus those like Japan exclusive games.
Ambitious, I'll tell you that. But
Thank you,
Hunter. You said in the world of Switch that JP is like a known entity now. It's funny you say that because I don't know if you remember this, JP, but maybe like a year ago, I bought Dust from you, Dust from the collector's edition, the limited run one.
Oh, really?
And and when you sent it, you sent your JP. I guess you'd call it a business card.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically what it is. And I still have it. I think it might be in the box protector or like somewhere with Dust, I think.
Yep.
Anyway, I told my girlfriend, I was like, yeah, it's JP Switch Mania. He's going to be on the podcast with Hunter and I. And she sent me a text later. She goes, I know this guy from somewhere. And she goes, where have I seen him before? Do you have a card or something with his name on it? Like, yeah, I do. I said, that's the guy.
wow.
I never thought I'd have business cards. I think I made them. I went to a convention and I was like, oh, let me make them. And I made 500. I'm thinking like, what am I ever gonna do with these?
Right.
I started selling stuff. I'm like, I'm just gonna throw them in there, and that's how they all went.
Well, I mean, hey, what a way to promote it.
Exactly. You can go ahead. I think I'm gonna look for that card real quick. I think
Okay. So
what's your one?
I'm gonna answer kind of in 2 ways because right now it's the Switch. Love the Switch, live and breathe the Switch. It's about all I play. Before the Switch came out, I would say NES and probably Sega Saturn were pretty tied. I mean, NES, like I said, I was really close to a full set. Something about those gray cartridges on a shelf just looks so nice.
Oh yeah,
I agree with you.
And I still I only collect like complete box stuff now. I'm not messing with loose stuff, but like walking into a store and seeing all those loose games, I have to resist myself because they look so nice together. So yeah, NES, Sega Saturn. I mean, I used to have a Saturn, had a real nice big collection, then I sold it. And I really, really love that. But right now, currently, definitely the Switch.
Can't blame you.
I mean,
Wow.
Yeah, definitely the Switch. I mean, if you've noticed the theme here, all mine were handhelds, basically.
Yeah.
I just love handheld gaming. Not to say I don't love consoles. I mean, N64, 360, Sega Master System, first system I ever played. They're all great, but I just really love handheld gaming, which is funny because my buddy hates it. He won't play anything in handheld.
It's so convenient. And I just realized that I went Xbox, or I did Microsoft, I did Sony, I did Nintendo for my top 3, and I'm like, see, I'm a well-rounded guy.
Yeah. See, you don't discriminate against.
No, I don't. I mean, to me, it's always been, I just want to be part of the video game community. It doesn't matter what you play, what you collect. It's like, I just never believed in that whole like the fanboy mentality. It's just like you can like everything. It's okay.
See, that's my thing. Like, I never understood the fanboy mentality. It's like, okay, yes, I have a 360, but why can't I like something on PS3? Who cares?
Exactly. Yep.
Except PS2, that's trash on her. So anyway, let's go on.
Excuse me.
I did find. By the way, I found Dust. So this is the Dust you sold me.
I should have bought that limited run when I saw it.
Sealed. And here's a tip that I do all the time. I will take a very fine razor and just cut the top of these cellophane things, and it uses it. It's like keeps it as a box protector, basically.
Yeah.
I found the card too. It was right.
That's my original card. So that now I number them on the back to make it like collectible. But that was my first version, and then I did an updated one that had a 1 on the back, and then I had the one that has, I don't know if you could see it, but so I have like my little guy now, and that's on the second business card, and that's like the number 2 on the back.
Well, Tyler, in 20 years, that's going to be super rare and expensive.
This is a first print. That's a first
prototype.
Print. Yeah.
I should have
slide that right in there.
I should have bought Dust when I saw it, but I didn't.
You know, there's one I was looking for, and then obviously I bought it. I was a little disappointed in it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I didn't like the gameplay that much. I just couldn't get into it. I'm not really sure why.
I remember looking at Dust and I was like, all right, how much do I want to spend? And I was like, I don't really want to buy both of them, so I'm glad I went with this one over Dust because I like this more.
Yeah.
I bought Shantae.
Oh, great game.
Yeah, and now really expensive too, so.
And here's how it looks now. Slide the card right.
It looks like it was made to be there.
Also, Tyler, we've talked about this before. It's always been a point of contention. When I go to unseal it, I take all the plastic off. I hate having that shit on there.
I tell you why I don't do it. Let me go grab a single game, and you'll know exactly why I don't do it.
It's not going to make me not do it, though. Oh, sorry. I abuse my games. I'm sorry.
Well, look at this. Here's why I don't do it.
It's meant to be played, Tyler. Take it off.
No, it is off. See that sticker on the front, though?
Yeah.
That means a lot. That means a lot now.
To me, that means nothing.
I can slide it out and still play it, but there's a second run of this game that doesn't even have that sticker, and there'd be no way for me to know that this is the first run. I mean, there might be something on the back.
You're right.
There you go.
You're right.
All right, here's the difference between you and me. One, I could give a shit about the sticker. And two, I want that game very badly and cannot find it.
It's not the sticker, but it's what the sticker represents, really.
So you're telling me the NBA Jam Tournament sticker on Saturn is very important?
You'd want it on there if you're going to buy the game.
Oh, John Hancock would, yeah.
If you need Monster Boy, apparently GameFly has had them, and they've been shipping them complete.
Yeah, that's what I think you were just telling them.
Yeah, some people have posted that they went through there, and that seems to be the only way. Because FDG, who helped publish the game, they had done a tweet a while ago, like, we sold out of our copies. Like, find it if you can. And then
Best Buy making more.
Yeah, Best Buy was the last place to have it. Then they sold out, and now all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, I didn't buy this game. I should probably try and find it.
And I saw it so many times before it went out of print, and I was like, I need to get it. I need to get it. I need to get it, but I don't want to spend that much. And then I was like, it won't be rare. I'll get it later. Nope.
The thing is, though, it's also quite a good game. It's good.
So I've heard it's actually very good. I want to get the what's the other one? Wonder Boy.
Yes.
Yeah, Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. That one I didn't like as much, but that's a remake of the original. So.
Well, yeah, but I still want to get it.
But but Monster Boy was really good. A lot of by the way, going back to that sticker, just one more point. All the Nicalis games have a sticker. Well, most of them have a sticker on the front showing you that it's like
I'm aware
bonus inside.
I took mine off. I took mine off of.
I peeled mine off. and I put it on still.
That's a great idea. Yeah, if you're not going to do the little, dissection method that I did, then what you just said is the way to go.
In 20 years, I'll pawn it off as a variant, non-sticker version.
Yeah.
Who's going to know the difference?
But I will do that. Like, even if it's like a crappy game that just has some kind of like, there's like Aquamoto.
I have Aquamoto.
And it was like, you could win a free jet ski. I just put that thing around and I just put the little plastic with the sticker inside the case.
I have that game sitting around here somewhere. I remember someone on eBay was selling that and like Party Arcade together for like $12 shipped.
Yep.
I was like, I can't pass up sealed Switch games for $6, right?
No, you can't.
That's how I ended up with that one.
Yeah. Okay. There I think are a couple more questions here. All right. So if you could pick three games on the Switch, only one. 3 games on the Switch, only one from RPG, fighting, action. Oh, so one from like each genre. Which would they be? Jeez.
Ooh. I think I got an answer.
Yeah, I would probably pick Dead Cells, Breath of the Wild, and give me a second. I don't know, maybe Mario Kart just because of the longevity.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I
guess I'd be okay with those.
Those are good choices.
I would pick Pokemon, obviously, for RPG. I still love Pokemon, so it's getting picked. I'm going to pick R-Type for shooters.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. I'm going to pick... I can't read, so... I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read. I don't know. I'd probably put Mario Odyssey up there.
Yeah. I could easily replace... Mario Kart with Odyssey. I think.
Right, yeah. Odyssey, I mean, it's a staple. If you have a Switch, you should have Odyssey.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. So I would do Rocket League, because that's my number one game. Never played it for the Switch. Have like over 300 hours in it. I love it.
That game. I love it. I want to get it for the Switch.
It plays great. I mean, I think it plays great on it.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure, yeah.
Cross-platform, too.
What?
Cross-platform. You can play with PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah, it's very cool.
That's
it's like
best,
Fortnite.
yeah.
It's like Fortnite.
Yoku's Island Express.
I just bought that recently, and I can't wait to play it.
Amazing. Like, it's a pinball, Metroidvania, platformer kind of game, and it's just perfect. Like, it's so good.
It's so funny.
Gem.
It's so funny. I don't mean to cut you off real quick, but I bought that game because I love the game Pinball Quest on the NES, which is a pinball RPG.
Yeah.
So when I heard about this game, I was like, I got to get that. It's got to be good. So I can't wait to play it.
It's so good. And it's one of those games like I couldn't stop playing it. Like I didn't 100% it, but I just remember just like, I got to go to bed. It's like 2 a.m, and I just kept going. It's just so good.
Great art style too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. What is that? Team 17 that does that?
That's the publisher. I don't know who
the publisher.
I got some of their other games, I think.
Let's see.
JP's got that library behind him. He can just.
Well, yeah, you can just be like, oh, yeah, let me look real quick.
Okay, so Yoku's, it was Team 17 and Villa Gorilla. So Villa Gorilla. And we did, like, for our playcast, one of the early episodes, we played this one as our game of the week.
Okay.
We loved it. I mean, like, seriously, to me, I think until the Switch is done, I'll say, like, this is probably, like, one of the hidden gems that I think went unnoticed.
And I would say so.
Everyone needs to have this. It's just so
I
good.
might have to give it another go.
Yeah, you didn't really like it, did you?
Oh, you didn't like it?
So the thing that frustrated me was the and this is really what makes or breaks Metroidvanias for me, is the way that you move around. Like how fun traversing the map is and how annoying. Like in Symphony of the Night, like is a good example. There's parts of that game that are really annoying to get through.
No, I'll give you that.
Yeah, and for me, I had a very difficult time traversing with the flippers. Trying to, because maybe I'm just not good at pinball, but it's hard to get where I want to go. You know, when you don't have direct control over the character, but it's super unique. If nothing else, it's super unique.
Well, that kind of falls in the category of me for like the Wonderful 101 on the Wii U. The concept, great. The controls, not really that good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, lucky for you, you can play it not on Wii U nowadays.
Yes, I can get it for the Switch. That's damn right. So maybe it's better. I don't know.
Yeah. Did you say 3 or 2 games, JP?
That was my second. So it was Yoku, it was Rocket League.
Yeah.
And then if I had to pick one more, I'd probably go with Xenoblade Chronicles. So I never played it for the Wii. I didn't play it for the 3DS. I'm
Yeah,
playing it now for the Switch, and I have no idea how it was a 2010 game because it's just amazing. Like it's just a beautiful game and it's so good. And I'd probably say like for me like that would be like if I was in the I say this now like if I wasn't collecting every game, I would have bought that game day one and been happy if that was like the only game I bought for the next couple months.
I mean, Xenoblade is one of those kind of games where 400 or 500 hours, no problem.
Yeah, like they give you a lot for your money's worth, and it's just fun to run around in that
I
world.
mean, 50 hours and you're still in the tutorial. Like, but no. I mean, if you're looking for something you can play for a long time,
that's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's definitely it.
And Breath of the Wild, I would say.
Yeah,
I tried to get into that one back in the Wii days. And I still have it.
I never had it for Wii.
Yeah, I still have it. In fact, do you remember the Rainfall collection? Remember that?
Yeah,
it was like
Pandora's Tower,
Last Story,
Pandora's
Tower, and
Xenoblade. I have 2 of the 3. I don't have Pandora's Tower.
Get that.
Yeah, but I'm not an RPG guy or a JRPG guy, so I'm kind of a that was my collector's things. Actually, I keep hating to run back here and grab these things, but I have a cool Xenoblade artifact, I guess you'll call it. I can't even remember where I got this, but this place was selling it's like a DVD slipcover for the Rainfall collection.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, so it's got all 3 of the games on here. And it has a little story about it down here.
I don't remember where you got this.
Oh, OperationRainfall.com. That's what it was.
That's still a thing.
And as you can see, I do not have Pandora's Tower, so I just stuck an empty case in there to fill it out. So.
You gotta fill that in.
Yeah, eventually I'll get it. Yeah. In fact, that's a really... Why don't I have it at this point?
I mean, yeah, really. Why don't you have it? That's disrespectful, Tyler. Come on.
But here's my original Xenoblade. Yeah, it was a good game, but I was a little over my head in this one. I think. Yeah.
So, wow, that's nice. Did not know that box existed.
Yeah, and it's nothing official, I don't think. But and I can't remember where I heard this, but that whole Operation Rainfall thing was like there was like a lot of people were really into it, getting those games over here in the.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm pretty sure I read some article somewhere where the developers are saying like or the publishers, whatever, it's like that didn't do anything. We didn't, we didn't.
They're all right, but they're not. We gotta have it.
Yeah. So anyway, but cool. All right, good question and good games. Those were good games. All right. One more. Tell us about your most thrilling hunt for a game. Was it super cheap or was it super rare? Most thrilling hunt for a game. Oh boy. Hunter, you've probably got way better stories than I do. For this.
I mean, I've got stories for days on stuff like. Senti 2 months ago was an incredible find.
Yeah,
incredible.
I'm trying to think of
something I've actively wanted though.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the time of like, okay, I've wanted Dust, so I got Dust, and here's how I got.
I got one.
Okay, go ahead.
Not Switch related, but I remember when I was collecting for the NES, my most wanted game was Snow Brothers and Mighty Final Fight. Both quite rare and expensive, and I wish I had them now because you're not getting them now. And I remember my buddy Joe, he found a copy of Mighty Final Fight at Goodwill for $5, like 3 hours before I went there, and I was so upset.
Wow.
He sold it to me later that night, I think for like $20, which was still at the time an amazing deal. And I was so happy. And then I ended up getting a Snow Brothers in like a Craigslist lot randomly, like a week later, which was crazy. So those 2 were ones that like I vividly remember getting them because I love them.
I've had both of those at one point. Snow Brothers is actually Snow Brothers is a pretty good game. It's like a Bubble Bobble type game.
It's better than Bubble Bobble.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying it. Snow Brothers is better than Bubble Bobble.
If you ever run for office, they're gonna dig this up, and it's gonna be.
They are. They're gonna be like, yeah, but the guy that said Snow Brothers is better than Bubble Bobble, so he can't win.
Yeah. I have one, but JP, if you want to go, that's or if you have a good.
It's funny. I don't think I have a crazy story. I mean, I'm trying to think. Normally, when I was like actively collecting, I just kind of go on eBay or go to like my retro store or just kind of post on like my personal Facebook page and see if someone has something. But I would say probably like the funnest story I have is that for the NES Classic, when it was coming out, I couldn't pre-order it anywhere, and I knew my GameStop was getting it. So we only had my son at the time. We dropped him off like super early at daycare. I came with my wife, and because I was like, I'm gonna get 2. So we wait in line, and like right behind us is the entire police department force in that town where the GameStop was. They all wanted it for whatever reason. But, like, the entire lineup was there, and I just remember all hanging out for like good 3.5 hours just talking. We were first and second, so I got it. So not that it was hard or anything, but I just remember like one guy coming up and going like, "Oh, what's this line for?" And we're like, "Oh, it's the NES Classic." He's like, "No, I've got better things to do. I work." And he like walked away, and I just remember all the cops behind us going like, "All right, you get his license plate number?" Like, I was just like, "Wow, like that was insulting." But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think when I try and find the game, my first stop is like eBay, and for the most part, they have it. You just have to be willing to pay that price. So I guess I'm a little boring when it comes to collecting.
Yeah. I have 2 stories came to mind, but one of them is significantly better than the other. Well, it's not even that good of a story. It's just the thing we got at the end of the day was way cooler. I have the Hyrule Warriors limited edition from for Wii U, the Nintendo Store exclusive one.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I'm supposed to get one of those.
Yeah. I think there's an article from Nintendo Life that says there was only 200 made. I think it was 220 or something like that.
I don't know if anyone knows the exact number, but it's something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had a full Zelda set at the time. I already had Hyrule Warriors, but obviously not that edition. And there was a guy on Nintendo Age, again, I'm so sad that Nintendo Age isn't there anymore, who had one not too long after it had come out, maybe a few months. And it was still sealed, and he was, hey, he had it up for trade is what it was. So I traded him, man. Yeah. It was some good stuff. It was good Super Nintendo stuff. It was both the Battletoads games complete in the box, Ninja Gaiden Trilogy complete in the box on Super Nintendo, the combo cartridge.
Wow. Sparkster.
Yeah, a cartridge copy, a loose copy of Sparkster, which is a game I still want to get back. And there was probably a few other things in there. But I got it, and I still have it, and it's like if my house were burning down, that's one of the few things I would.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
You'd be disowned if you didn't say it.
It would be Hyrule Warriors, and then mortgage documents that I need to have to file for insurance.
To file for insurance claims.
Yeah.
No, I mean, no,
and
I
then
get
the cat.
that.
You know what I mean? It's like.
No, I mean, I get it. Like, it'd be such a shame for that to happen. Like,
yeah, because there's just like
you're not getting another one. Like,
that's my justification for it is I kick myself for getting rid of like Sparkster and Ninja Gaiden Trilogy. But at the end of the day, if I wanted to buy another one of those, okay, I'm gonna spend a few $100s, but they're out there. I can get one.
Right.
Hyrule Warriors, there's gonna be a point where they're just not anymore.
I mean, eventually they're all gonna be in collectors' hands, and you're not gonna sell them.
Yeah,
I'm hoping the Switch doesn't do that, because I'm not too far from New York, but I don't know if I could actually get there, especially now I'm like not going anywhere. But if they start doing like store exclusives, that's when it goes, and that's when it's like, oh my god, like, I hope I know somebody.
I think the Switch is too mainstream to do that now. I don't think that would happen on Switch. I'd be very shocked.
Ew.
Am I just not hearing Hunter? Or what
yeah.
Oh, there you go. I got you now.
I'm acting for some reason. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yep.
Yeah, so you need to sell me Hyrule Warriors in 30 years. And I need someone to sell me the Mario Kart 8 one.
I'd really like to get that, but
Cooper's
I don't see
one. He's not selling it.
Yeah.
Although
a lot of people have them both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if one has one, they have the other. That sort of thing.
Right. You generally don't have one or the other, which is weird. But no, that's a good one though. I mean, you're not going to get another one.
Yeah. All right. So that was the last question from the Switch group. My girlfriend had a stream before this. We played. I was on it for the first time ever. She streams on Twitch.
That was
what'd you say? How was it?
Yeah.
It was good. We played like, I don't know, maybe 15 or so Mario Kart 8 races.
Nice.
And I only won one. And I don't
Wow.
claim to be that good at the game. But I'm better than average, I guess, but I'm not. I know
Not with her though.
Right, exactly. But they had asked a few questions, and where did she send them to me? I thought maybe she texted them to me, or she sent them on Facebook. I think for the most part, they were just. I answered a lot of them on there, but the first one is best Mario character.
Waluigi.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. I like Mario. Mario's my favorite Mario character.
Yeah, I guess I'm boring. I'd say Mario too.
No,
Yeah.
you could get rid of Mario and just have Waluigi, and it'd be better.
Thoughts on Pikmin for Switch?
I'm
Yes,
still waiting. Pikmin 3 is the last reason to have a Wii U, and if it comes to Switch,
hmm
I mean the Wii U will be worthless.
I think
And
we'll see 1 and 2 coming.
yeah, I think we're gonna see 1 and 2 coming. I think 3 will get ported, and I'm pretty sure they're working on a 4th one. So I think it's gonna all come.
Yeah.
Like they'll have a quarter 3 release for 4. They'll do the first 2 like in the holiday season, and then they'll put 3 out sometime in like March. When it's kind of dead.
I'm okay with that.
And I think it's just gonna slide right into 4 like that. So I'm hoping that's what they do.
Or a
Yeah.
trilogy, like the Metroid that everyone.
Or just do it
coming.
as a trilogy. That's fine too.
Yeah.
That would be fine too. But yeah, something like that is what I see happening.
When they asked that, I answered these on her Twitch stream when they asked them. Just I guess I should have saved them, but I didn't. My answer was that I think Pikmin, especially Pikmin 3, there's like very few games out there that need an online co-op as much as Pikmin 3 does.
It's one of them for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that the multiplayer mode in that game, not the competitive one,
No, I
but
know
the
what you're talking about.
cooperative one is super super good. And if
just
that
needs
were
to be
online, it'd be way cool.
It's still just a shame to me that Nintendo still has not really figured out the online thing.
Yeah, they're lacking.
They might be great at making consoles and games, but when it comes to like online infrastructure and all that, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Third question: would you rather have a new F-Zero game or a Smash Kart game? Smash being
F-Zero.
like all the Nintendo characters on a
F-Zero.
Mario Kart type game. I said the Smash Kart game.
F-Zero, but I want Pilot Wings more than F-Zero, so it's not in the question. But Pilot Wings.
I want the SNES game and redone maybe, but that music, those levels,
Butte City.
or maybe even like a compilation of like the best of F-Zeros across like the Game Boy, the
That'd be cool.
GameCube, all that stuff, or N64 too. I just want F-Zero really.
I'm telling you, I'm like the last diehard fan out there that's like new Pilot Wings.
Yeah, I never hear anybody talking about Pilot Wings. There was a game that came out in Europe though that is maybe a little like Pilot Wings.
Oh, is there?
Yes, and I'm trying to think. Oh, Ultra Wings. Have you heard of this?
No, I
So-
haven't.
I don't know if you can read that case or not. It's a little bit glary, sorry. But it says here, complete a variety of challenges across this beautifully stylized open world, including shooting balloons, performing spot landings, competing in
Okay.
thrilling air races, and more.
I mean, that's basically the definition of Pilot Wings.
And it's
That sounds
Ultra
fun.
Wings flat.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that one.
Did you play? Have you played it, JP?
No.
I'm
watched
gonna
the
look into
videos of
that.
it. It
Though.
looks good. I
Yeah,
haven't
I'm
played
gonna,
it.
I'm gonna look into that. But yeah, like I don't know. I love Pilot Wings. Like I got into it with the 3DS. It was the first game I bought because it was the only thing worth buying. I
Yep.
wasn't paying fucking $40 for Steel Diver. But I did pay $40 for Pilot Wings, and it's relaxing. It's
Mhm.
fun. The music's great. It's aesthetically pleasing, and it's a handheld I can play in bed. I mean, it was like all the best things together for me.
Right.
And then I went back and played the 64 one, and I love the 64 one. Even the Super Nintendo one is very impressive for the time with its
Mhm.
Mode 7. Sorry, Genesis, your blast processing doesn't live up. But I think it's really a great series that I really want to see on the Switch. I hope they do it eventually, but I know it's not a top priority.
Right.
But F-Zero would be cool too. I love that too.
Mhm.
Yeah. I guess I'm alone on that one.
I could give a shit about Smash.
Well, I don't care about. Would you say you don't? Did you say Smash Kart?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Having
got
more characters to
Kart
me
Racer,
doesn't mean
I'm
anything
good.
because I don't care what character I play as.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason that, first of all, if they come out, if they really did it the way, well, this is the way I would do it, is if they had the Nintendo characters. Remember Double Dash? Every character had a special weapon that only they could use.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then if they have all these Nintendo characters, they have so much more material to make tracks out of. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well, this is true, yeah.
We don't have to play Donut Valley 3, or you know what I mean? They
You
have.
don't want to play Rainbow Road 17?
No. No. All right. A few more. Smash DLC predictions. I guess they mean for characters. I tried to list off a few like.
I don't
NES
play Smash.
I'm not really either. The ones I said was Bionic Commando could be neat.
That would be cool. That'd be pretty cool.
I didn't say Sparkster, but I did think of it afterwards, and that Sparkster or Rocket Knight, whatever, would be super.
I was gonna say I don't even know what the name of that character officially is.
I think his name is Sparkster.
Is it? Is it really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Okay.
So before my computer turns off on me, my plug got loose. I'm just gonna plug it in.
Oh,
I don't want to just disappear from this conversation.
I can't remember who else I said though.
I'm trying to think of somebody that'd be like.
I said Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden.
That would be cool.
Yeah. I couldn't think of. Oh, Blanca from Street Fighter. I always liked him for some reason.
I like. What's his name in Street Fighter? I can't remember.
What's his gimmick or whatever?
Hang on, I'll look it up.
Zangief.
That might be it. Actually, it might be
the big Russian guy.
Yeah, I think that's it. Zangief. Yeah, I like Zangief.
How did I guess that? The first fucking guy.
I don't know. I like Russians. Out of context, that's gonna be.
You're definitely not getting into politics.
Someone's gonna clip that out in 20 years, and it's just gonna be like, I like Russians. Oh, that's funny.
Okay. The other one asked about Mario Kart, which we talked about, and then the other one's not necessarily Switch related, but I don't want to run too far. We did have some kind of general topics that I had written down and sent out to you guys to talk about. We talked about JP, Switch Mania, the whole conglomerate, or empire, as we call it. Switch collections. I don't really know what I meant by that, but upcoming physical releases was one topic that was pretty interesting. And there's, I mean, like every week there's something new.
It's almost every day at this point.
Yeah. So I had listed a few for myself of upcoming ones that I'm super looking forward to. And the first one is Ion Fury, which is a game I've touted on the show.
Talking about that game.
Yeah. And as of now, the only way to get it, I think, is through PlayAsia and straight from 3D Realms, which is the publisher. I ordered it through 3D Realms. I don't think it really makes a difference, but it's not NTSC. It's just a PAL release for some reason.
I wonder why.
But it comes out at the end of June, and I cannot wait to play. I've been waiting for over a year to play that game. It's been on PC forever.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Wouldn't subject yourself to a PC game.
Well, I don't have my PC can barely run. Paint,
that's true. You can only run Skype half the time, so that's
so.
Right.
So the Switch version will be hopefully just as good. And see why it wouldn't be able to. It's made from an engine from 1995. So, and what else did I put here? Oh yeah, the Blaster Master Zero collection, or the.
I had that on mine too.
Yeah.
You pre-ordered it?
I'm really going back and forth on it.
Me too. I'm having the same problem. Like, I do want them, but like,
digitally, or
I have them both digitally. Yes. And I would love them physically. At the very least, I'll get the regular editions.
Yeah.
Here's what would make me say 100% yes to that question, and it's so stupid of an answer. But have you seen the PlayStation 4 version of those collector's editions?
Mm-mm.
They have it's the same thing, but on the very top of the slipcover or the box on the outside, it says Sunsoft, just like Blaster Master did on the NES.
Yeah.
It looks like an NES box. That's how they did
Yeah.
it.
I thought they were gonna keep that and also have like the Switch, like unless it's reversed. Is it the plastic has Sunsoft or?
It doesn't appear to.
Yeah,
No,
the
it's
outside
weird.
box on the website doesn't have it at all, and that's just a real bummer.
It is. The
it's so
PS4 version of
dumb,
that does look good.
You know, it's such a
I-
stupid reason to not buy it, but I'm just like,
I need to look into it 'cause I feel somebody asked them that, and they said Sunsoft would still show up on the Switch version. I just don't know
Okay.
how though. But I'll look into that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you get
Don't
an
want
answer
you to
for that,
miss
that'd
out
be-
if it is gonna have it.
yeah. And I still
Alright.
might buy them anyway. And then they have the combo set.
Oh yeah, and the,
Which
I
I
don't
mean,
wanna-
if I bought it, I'm
the
gonna buy the
shells.
combo set. I'm not gonna buy one and not the other.
all right.
Yeah, Yeah, you have to buy them both, but I don't know if I want to spend the extra to get the little figure that it comes with, or what. But
I'm
those
gonna
are
give you a
good.
hint. I'm gonna give you a hint. You do want to buy it because when you don't want it, I'll buy it.
Look at that.
Yeah,
the
that's
win-
fair. Yeah, how about that? So,
And
that's
when-
all I had written down.
And when I
That's-
inevitably
good
don't
question.
want it, I'll sell it back to you.
Yes, and I'll have lost money twice.
See, that's how I work, Tyler.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
There's
for me,
other stuff like Paper Mario and whatever that Doom Eternal. For unique games, I would say those are at least the only ones I could think of off the top of my head.
I want Captain Tsubasa, the soccer game that's
Oh
coming.
yeah.
It's from Bandai Namco.
I've
Namco
seen
Bandai.
the.
And-
it's an anime. I've
Yeah.
seen some of it.
We don't. I mean, we have FIFA, but I want like a fun soccer game. And if we're not getting a Mario Strikers kind of game,
Right.
this one is like pure anime. Like you're flying in the air and you're both kicking the ball at the same time.
it-
and sparks are flying.
It's kind of the problem with like Gran Turismo versus like I don't know, like Burnout. One's an arcade style kind
Yes.
of game, and one's a simulation.
I don't want simulation. I want like
FIFA.
a fun soccer game.
Don't get me wrong, I like simulation when I want to like play a real match, but
Right.
you know, sometimes I just want to pop in some arcadey stuff, and that's why like Super Dodgeball on the NES is so
Yep.
fun.
No, absolutely. And also the rumored like Mario collection that they're talking about and what that is. Like I still feel we're gonna get like Super Mario 64. I think we're getting Galaxy. I don't know if they're gonna be doing it in terms of like one big compilation or individual releases, but
I don't
I'm ready
care if
for
it's
that.
all together or individual. I'm
yeah.
fine.
I mean, I was gonna get them anyway, but I could just picture the Super Mario 64 with the DS additional content, and then
that
new
would
graphics
be
and-
that
like-
would be cool.
yeah, like a real like final version of the game and
You know-
possibly even more.
You know, it's funny. I had that game when I was a kid, and between all my games, that was probably my least played video game.
Really,
I don't like Mario 64. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
I prefer Mario 1, 2, 3. I don't like Sunshine either. That game fucking blows. It's too hard. It's too hard.
It's
the
very
same-
hard.
It's
That's
the same
hard.
reason Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze on the Wii U sucked. It was too hard.
Ooh, that's that's blasphemy.
That's
Is
why-
such a
That's why
great-
the Switch one was nice when they added the easier mode.
Yep.
God.
Donkey Kong.
God, that game was so hard on the Wii U.
But compare that to like Yoshi's Crafted World, which is so easy that I fall
Mhm.
asleep when I play it.
Kir-
you know?
Kirby, yeah, but I love those games. Kirby, Yoshi. I've always been sold to the more relaxing kind of games.
hmm
Like Kirby is my favorite Nintendo IP outside of Pokemon.
Mhm.
I'm like the biggest Kirby fan in the world. They're just relaxing.
Yeah, I guess so. I like
And
to
I
get
still-
stressed out when I play, so I don't know why.
I see. Yes, you want to throw your Switch through the TV.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be able to because you can switch it.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Hunter? You didn't mention any.
So I was actually looking at a list today of like the upcoming releases because
Mhm.
honestly, I haven't really been keeping up a whole lot. I've also been out of town for like almost a month,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I was unaware that Crisis is getting a remaster.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
I forgot
Which-
about that.
which is hilarious because the joke is always booking the Switch run Crisis. Apparently, it can,
Witcher, they didn't think could run it.
which that still blows my mind. They got that on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Crisis. So I remember I played Crisis when it came out, and for the time, it was an amazing game. But it's like it was such a good game, but it never had like a huge following.
hmm
And I mean, I never assumed it would get a remaster. So to see that the first one is nice. I'll probably get that up, pick that up. And the other
Crysis
one
2 was the only one I played, by the way. I didn't mean to cut you off, but Crysis 2 is a really good game.
Yeah, Crysis 2 is a phenomenal game.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I noticed on the list, which I didn't see, is they're doing these Deadly Premonition games.
Yeah, they did Origins, and now 2 is coming out.
Yeah, I didn't know they even did the first one yet, so that was cool. Those were some close to launch 360 titles, horror games that some people love them, some people absolutely hate them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the category of I think they're really good, and I mean it's another port to the Switch. I can't complain.
Yeah. What game was I just thinking of? There's one that I wish we would get the Just Cause games.
God, no.
And honestly, no.
I know. I want them. I just bought 3 the other day.
The first one for the 360 is probably one of my favorite. Even though the second one I played on PS3,
yeah,
right? And I loved it. Like they added a lot more.
I love
the first one with the island, and I just remember playing that, and I love that game so much. And I'm like, I wish we had that on the Switch.
I'm telling you, the day they announce a Fallout collection, Fallout 3 New Vegas, Fallout 4, I don't care which one, any of them at this point. I mean, I would never play anything else.
Yeah.
Like I just started playing through Fallout 4 again. Arguably my favorite series of all time. You know me. I've literally played this game like hundreds of times at this point.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't get boring. I love it. And it's funny.
We'll probably get it at one point.
If you'd asked me this question like 6 months ago, I would have told you Borderlands.
And here it is.
And in fact, yeah, I remember it got announced, and Tyler told me, and I was like, "No, you're lying."
Yeah.
I was like, "Borderlands ain't coming to no Switch." And here we go. We got the whole trilogy of the 360 one. So, and from what I hear, very, very good versions.
Yeah.
So
except for that code.
Yeah, except for that code.
Except for that code.
But you know what you can do. Well, while we're talking about games that are not actually announced yet, but that we would like to see, obviously Metroid Prime Trilogy is number one. There's no question about it in my mind. But other than that is, do you guys know that game? It's been announced. It's not even out yet digitally, but it's called Cyber Shadow.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember this.
Yeah, it's a Ninja Gaiden type game, basically the classic Ninja Gaiden. It's from I can't remember the developer's name, but the publisher is Yacht Club. You know, the Shovel Knight guys. So I'm definitely buying that. I think it comes out in the fall of this year of some sort. God, I hope they do a physical version of that because
they will.
Yeah, I'm hoping because Shovel Knight's had like a bunch of different physical versions and stuff like that.
That game blew up, so I'm imagining this one probably is too.
So for me, if we're talking about games that have been announced, I want to play Skatebird. If you've seen that,
I've seen that.
Literally a bird on a skateboard, and it's just really good. They had it at one of like the Nindies, like the Nindy Directs, like a while back.
Is that like Duck Game kind of, or not Duck Game? What's that one game? Goose Game. The goose one.
No, this looks like Tony Hawk, but with a bird.
Oh wow, okay.
From what it looks like.
Speaking of Tony Hawk remasters, can't wait.
Oh my god. We will get that. I have a feeling because the company that did Spyro and Crash, they brought it to the Switch.
Right, I'm sure that's coming to Switch.
We'll see it in like a year probably, I think, after it releases. But I mean, I'll buy it for the PS4. Tony Hawk.
I'm buying it for the PS4 day one.
I actually just posted today like new arrivals, and I just got Tony Hawk 2X for the Xbox.
Oh really? I don't know.
And I'm like, I'm playing that tonight.
Tyler, I don't know if you've seen, by the way, the price of Tony Hawk games right now are unbelievable.
Yeah, they're starting to go up.
I mean, you're paying $40 for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 on PS1, the most common game in the world.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's like Animal Crossing on GameCube right now. That game's like $100.
It was a revival after that trailer. I mean, the trailer for it was so good.
I mean, it came out of nowhere. Like, it's something I've always wanted, and then they actually did it, and I was like, oh my god.
And they look like they're doing it right. Like, that's the big thing.
Well, I hope, because Pro Skater 5 was so horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what a disaster.
But if we are talking hypotheticals, I want to see Golden Sun come out on the Switch.
Golden Sun would be cool.
Just do 3 of them. Just do the trilogy, the 2 Game Boy Advance and the DS, and I'm good. Or even just do the first one remastered, because that's still like one of my favorite JRPGs.
Still waiting. We got Rockstar on board now, right? We got LA Noire. We got a couple of, give me, I don't care if it's 5, 4, a collection of the first 3. anything Grand Theft Auto that if it says it's coming to the Switch is gonna be like pre-order instantly day one.
How
Oh,
could
great,
you
it's
not
good.
even have 3 Vice City or San Andreas
I
come? I mean,
cannot believe. Like I know they did that San Andreas HD for the 360 and shit, which ended up being terrible.
yeah.
So it's still not the best way to play it. And it's like I can't believe they haven't done 3 Vice City and San Andreas together.
Yeah. Like, do they
I
not
mean-
know people will buy it on the Switch?
I don't know.
Sometimes I wonder with companies like what they have against the Switch, because it's like you could port it downwards and it's still going to sell really well because there's just that market of I just want to take the game on the go.
Right. It's funny. This made me think of this. There's this guy on YouTube I watch, and he was talking about like during the Wii U, he was at 2K's headquarters,
Mm-hmm.
and 2K made how many games for the Wii U, Tyler?
One,
One.
2K13, the
Yeah,
NBA.
NBA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they made one game, and he was because he works in the video game industry, he was like taking a tour, or whatever, and he was like, they have Wii U development kits that are just collecting dust.
Wow.
They're not interested. They're just not interested. It's not worth it for them to even port it to the Wii U.
Well, at least right now we're getting 2K games, we're getting Atlas games.
Oh, I know.
I mean, is there really anybody that's not on board aside from like EA? EA still seems to be very slow.
For some reason, EA, I still think hasn't. Because I know after the Wii U, they kind of called it quits, but it's like, how can you not put it on the Switch at this point?
Like, how is there? I mean, I don't even play football that much, but how do you not have a Madden game on?
Right,
the
like,
Switch?
I would honestly probably buy Madden.
Uh-huh. It'd be enough for me to try. Like, that's what's great about Switch is like it's getting me to play games I've just never had an interest before or ever thought of I would be playing. But because it's on the Switch, I'm like, I'm gonna give it a shot.
It's
And-
funny, like, obviously, in real life, I hate sports, could give less of a shit about it. But I love sports games like Tiger
Mhm.
Woods.
Fight Night is like my favorite.
Fight Night, Fight
Yeah.
Night, all the classic wrestling games.
Yep.
Those are all great. And it's like, yeah, bring them on. Come on.
Did you see the new wrestling game Retromania coming?
Yes.
Looks
that
good.
looks good. That looks
yeah.
good. Oh, I'll tell you a game I want. I just thought about this. Another Nintendo IP that they got to bring back. Give me a new Punch Out game, damn it.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be a good one. I didn't even think of that.
Punch Out on the Wii is underrated as all hell. That
Mhm.
game is so good.
Looking
And
to see if
we-
you have it.
I need a new one.
I don't think I do. Right now.
There's a really rare version of that game, I think, that comes with I think it's an extra controller, but I know that bundle's really hard to get.
Yeah. I have it's like a bumper sticker from Punch Out. I can't remember where I got it. I put it on the back of my door back when years ago, back when I lived at home. What the hell did it say? It said, it said Hell's Yeah, but Hell's with a Z.
Uh-huh.
Little Mac, and that's what it said. Hell's Yeah, Little Mac is back. And I was like, I didn't think about it at the time, but several times I thought, I can't believe Nintendo put out a sticker that said Hell's Yeah on it.
Well, they put out a game called Devil's World in 1986.
Well, so that was a Capcom game, I thought. You talking about that?
Oh, that's a Nintendo game.
What's that There's a Capcom game that's it's like the Resident Evil precursor.
You're thinking of Sweet Home.
Sweet Home. Oh, that's right.
Also,
And now we have Leisure Suit Larry on the Switch.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
I'm telling you, there's
Oh.
games that I never thought would come in, and I feel like they've just like opened their doors and be like, create whatever game you want. Like there's
I just thought of another game that needs to be on the Switch. Sorry, it just
That's
came to
okay.
me. Serious Sam HD Collection.
yes.
That'd be a
I
good
could
one.
see that. I could see that.
Doom BFG Edition. I'd take that too.
That's already on there.
That was not. How is that already on there?
What do you mean? How's
Doom?
what not on there?
How is it already on there?
What game did you say?
Doom 3 BFG.
Yeah,
Edition.
Well, Doom 3 is not the BFG edition, but Doom 3 is on there.
Digitally.
Oh well, I don't want it digitally. That's useless
Yeah.
to me.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's right. We're talking physical.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about? You telling me that's out?
A Doom collection would just.
I
Oh
know
my
I
God,
would sell you like instantly.
Well,
Look,
I
I'd
know.
buy it on every console. I'd buy it.
Didn't
in a
they say
heartbeat.
with Doom Eternal they were going to provide like Doom 64 codes or
Yeah,
something?
they did.
Yeah, they did.
So you've got what Doom 1, 2, 3, 64, like old school. That would be. I mean,
And-
sometimes I have no idea how these aren't done yet.
Not only did we get Doom 64, but it's actually updated and better.
Yeah, it's a
Wow.
remaster for
Than
sure.
the
It's an
original.
excellent game. I beat it. I bought Doom Eternal on Xbox and I got the code on Xbox,
Mhm.
but I never used it. And I bought it on Switch, and it was only $5. And Yeah, it's a really good game. That game's the unsung hero of the Doom series. It is so good.
It's so good and no one talks about it.
Yeah.
And the only flaw with its original version is it's so dark you
Mhm.
can't see shit.
But they fixed it now, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
they tweaked the lighting and all that, and I think they added extra levels, didn't they?
Yeah, there's a whole new episode that ties it. It's now canon that
Wow.
ties into
Oh,
it ties
ties
into
in-
the ties it right into Doom 2016.
Wow.
That's cool. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
It's a whole extra episode. It's like
I may
6,
have to
7,
go
8
play that
levels.
now.
Well, I think what happened is they never thought Doom would be this series, and now they're trying to link them all together.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, from a story perspective, Doom 1, 2, 3, or sorry, Doom 1, 2, and 64 is actually Doom 3.
Well,
Doom-
yeah.
And then Doom 2016, because Doom 3 is just a remake of the first game, basically.
Mhm.
And all
feel
the
like-
other like Final Doom and stuff, that's just like that's not canon for story.
I
Whatever
don't
story there
understand
is.
how we don't really have like Dreamcast games. Because I'm thinking like Power Stone, Sonic Adventure, like all those
Oh my
games.
God, Sonic Adventure.
Like I mean, like I love collections, and I'm glad they've done the Sega Genesis collection. But they've done that a million times. Like, why not the Sega Saturn collection, the Sega Dreamcast?
I mean, I swear to God, at this point, there must be 600 Atari collections. There's more collections than there are games. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I've got, there's a Switch one, I've got the PSP one, I've got an Xbox one.
Yep.
There's like 4 on the Xbox One alone. And it's
Yeah.
like, who is buying these? The Remedy, they're making all of these.
I don't know. They need like the PS1 collection. Like they need to start moving up a little bit because those are retro. Like you can make a GameCube collection. You can like not even like the standalone like NES Classic, SNES Classic, but for the
Yeah.
Switch, these real collections of all these other Remember back in the day, the Intellivision collection on like
Yeah.
PS2. Like where are these? Like
Well,
I want.
even on
Yeah.
even on the 360s, there's that Dreamcast collection.
It was like what 3 or 4 games though.
Yeah, but I'll pull it up. It was 4 like really good games.
It was
I think it was
Sonic
Crazy
Mania.
Taxi, Crazy
or sorry.
Taxi.
Yeah, it was Sonic Adventure, Crazy Taxi. What's that?
It's
It's like
Space
a
Channel
rhythm
5
game.
Part 2
Yeah.
Mhm.
and Sega Bass Fishing, which is actually pretty fun for a fishing game.
Yeah.
And then the Steam reissue got Nights into Dreams, which God, I wish that was on
Oh.
there. Jesus Christ. And they got Jet Set Radio and the second Sonic Adventure too.
Oh, okay.
But like, I mean, come on, even the 360 got a physical Dreamcast collection.
I know. I don't know how we have. All these things I'm hoping are gonna come in like the next few years.
Well, Sega's finally kind of turned themselves around. Other than the fact they just announced the Game Gear Mini, which was
Garbage.
so stupid and garbage. It's ridiculous. I can't even believe this was the big announcement. I just can't believe that. I think some people have been rumoring, and I don't know if it's true or if there's any truth to it, but it's been rumored that Microsoft's about to buy out Sega, which would be unbelievable.
That'd be interesting.
That would be crazy.
I don't know if I see it though.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
just worry they're going to do the same thing they did with Rare and reduce them to grab by the ghoulies and Connect Sports.
Yeah. It doesn't feel right. You know
Where
what I mean?
is our Rare replay?
Right? Come on, man. You're not utilizing them. Come on.
Conquerors, all those good stuff.
It's all those great games are trapped
Yeah.
because of stupid ass Microsoft, and they're never going to sell the rights ever. Although funny, Nintendo still actually owns all the rights to mobile versions. I wonder how that falls.
Games.
Yeah, when Microsoft bought out Sega, they didn't buy handheld rights because they didn't have a handheld. They've never had a handheld, so to them it's useless. That's why, like on Game Boy Advance, you have like Banjo Pilot and the Spyro, or not Spyro.
Wow.
That's why you got like the Banjo games, and like even on the DS, there's cases of it. Diddy Kong Racing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
does the Switch count as a
I
handheld?
don't see. I don't know. Now it's in a gray area where it's like,
But they're sharing more now.
Yeah.
well, with Microsoft and Nintendo kind of actually working together a little bit,
Yeah.
maybe,
I want
maybe.
that Cuphead physical one that everybody's been talking about.
They
That's
said it was coming, but it feels like
They're
so
waiting-
long
They're
ago.
waiting for the DLC to be finished or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Wow, that game is so damn hard.
yeah.
Yep.
But it's so gorgeous. I know you like to be stress free when you play it, but that game's a That's a
Oh,
beauty to look
Well,
at.
I bought it because of the art style. I mean, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
But God, is it hard?
Mhm. All right. So we kind of touched on surprising physical releases already. Games that you didn't really expect to come out.
More.
Yeah, well, my list is Doom, which we talked about already, which was a shocker. Doom Eternal is one that's not out yet, and having beaten that game, I've said it to you, Hunter. I don't know how on earth they're gonna do that. That game is.
They put others.
It's like an acid trip, like in your face all the time. It's just so bizarre and big and bloody.
It's gonna be interesting to see how they do it.
That one will be interesting. And then I put Outer Worlds on there too. I didn't see that coming.
Oh, me either.
That was a surprise.
I'll tell you one of the biggest surprises for me, and I'm like one of the few people that would have cared, but when Limited Run was doing Luminous, which now has come to retail, obviously, but I didn't know that at the time. That is a classic PS2 game, the one on the Vita, one of the best puzzle games ever made. And I mean, just to have it on the Switch, a handheld again that I can play in bed, it's phenomenal.
Yep.
Yeah. That's all I could think of, though. I don't know, JP, I don't know if you had anything else.
Burnout Paradise. Shaq Fu. Shaq Fu was fun. It's a great game.
It is, but it's like, one, I never thought they would make another Shaq Fu game because it's one of the first games ever. And two, the fact that it's out and physical and got a collector's edition to me is just like.
And has Barack Fu on it too.
Yeah, and it's just like, this is incredible to me.
But you know what's great? Like, if you've played it, because we did this for Playcast, they make fun of themselves in the game. I know, yeah. And I love that. Like, to me, like I feel like they just had so much fun redoing, like, bringing this game back to life.
They're having a ball with it.
Yeah. You know which game I want? I want Michael Jordan in the Windy City.
The Windy City? Windy City.
I want that so bad again.
Oh my God, what's that other one on Super Nintendo? Oh, damn it. Some combat game? Some sports combat game?
Bill and Beer's Combat Basketball?
Bill and Beer's Combat Basketball. Yeah. There we go.
That's on, I think that might be a Genesis game. Is that on? Whatever. That's the name. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but that's it. That's what I was thinking of, though. Yeah.
That's too funny.
All right. I have a bullet here to talk about the physical game distributors, because there are a million nowadays. In fact, I just saw one the other day, Hidden Gem Games or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay too much mind. They announced themselves a long time ago, and nothing's happened since then. I think I want to say they may be like Texas-based when I looked them up, but yeah, it was funny. They announced themselves on Twitter, and I reached out to them to introduce myself. And they were just like, "Yep, we're working on it," and nothing ever came. And in my mind, I think they're gone. And somebody just found their page and posted it. But yeah, it just goes to show. I mean, another one kind of came up, but I don't think we're gonna see anything from them.
What was that one company that was in a bunch of heat? Warren Collectors. Were those the ones that never produced or took forever?
It was Dungeon Rusher, Pankapoo, Zombie Night Terror, I think it was called, and they had agreements with the developers, because what happened was they opened up pre-orders. We all pre-ordered it, and then just nothing ever came. And we reached out to the developers, and they were like, "Yeah, we have a contract with them. We don't know what's going on. They're not responding to us." And then I had people who actually lived, because I think they're in France, and they somebody went to their headquarters, and they were gone.
I mean, there was nothing there.
They took the money and ran. And what sucked the most is that a lot of people use PayPal, which has a 6-month window to request a refund. And it was right after the 6 months that they kind of just stopped responding to people. So a lot of people lost their money on that one.
That really sucks.
As of now, they're the only limited publisher that has failed us and just done wrong. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot Ultra Collectors just popped up, which is the developer Jondusoft, that's Spain-based. They're doing the Indie Calypse, Indie Apocalypse.
Yeah.
So they opened up their own line, and they have a website now, so you could buy their games directly. But yeah, I mean, lots of companies.
I mean, it really seems at this point, if you can make it, you can put it on there.
Yeah, but there's also so many Switch games that no matter how many publishers you have, you still can't get every good Switch game that deserves a physical to have.
No,
one.
I mean, it's just. I mean, it would take it'd be years, literally years
Yeah.
and years. But I mean, I swear every week it's a new one. You know, it started with limited run, and then I remember super rare, and then it was strictly limited, and then it was what was that one you were telling me, Tyler? Like red something?
Red Art.
Red Art, yeah, Red Art.
You want me to go through the list?
I'm sure you would know at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Did you say strictly limited?
Yeah, there's also Special Reserve, Dispatch games, first print, or first print, no, one print, first press. You've got you technically, I mean, you could even say like NIS America because
me and him talked about that recently. If I considered them one of those like limited publishers
for their collector editions,
and I'm kind of on the fence of saying yes.
Yeah. Well, it's even like signature edition games because like Merge does their standards and we get most of them, but Signature does the collector editions and only through their website. Although now I think they're starting to open up to like retail a little bit more overseas.
So, yeah.
You have East Asia Soft. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of companies, and you also have to think like VBlank, like the developers themselves are making games like NG Dev that's doing Gunlord X only through their website. You have VBlank that did the Shakedown Hawaii.
Yeah, I
remember
and also
Retro City Rampage.
Well, it's like Tyler just said with
Ion Fury.
Yeah, Ion Fury. That's only on 3D Realms' website.
Yeah.
So technically they're a limited publisher. Which, don't get me wrong, it's really good all these companies exist. It's good we're getting great games, but it's like in 10 years trying to go for a full set, I mean, it's going to be impossible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why JP's like ahead of the curve.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now. It's just not going to be possible to do this in 5-10 years.
No, with the limited ones, I mean, those are the hardest ones. Like even retail, I mean, when they go out, at least there was enough of them that you should be able to find one somewhere. But when you have only 3,000 copies of a game, 5,000, I mean, that's really not a lot when you think about how many people own a Switch. And it's just like, you know, some of them don't even sell out now. Like Red Art Games, you go on their website, great company, I talked to them, but not one of their games have sold out. And they've all been around like 2,800 to 3,000 copies.
I've been noticing that a lot too.
What did you say?
I've noticed that a lot too with some of these companies. They're like, they're not selling out as quickly anymore.
No. But you know what? Once they do, that's when the price skyrockets.
Well, that's, you know, you're right.
I don't know if JP, you're probably the only one who can't answer this question just because of your position. But who's your favorite? Who do you like the most for these limited run? For me,
I knew you were gonna ask.
Yeah, for me, I like Super Rare. I think that the way that because I buy the game and I have it usually 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I think for the most part, they've put out a lot of good quality stuff. Not a ton. But not a ton of games, I mean. But the quality is usually pretty good, and I usually buy maybe one out of every 4.
Well, this is my qualm, not to cut you off, JP, before that, but that's my qualm with limited run. Like, yes, they put out a lot of great shit, but I mean, I literally waited like 9 months for Celeste.
Yeah.
Other companies make the game and then sell it. Limited run doesn't make the game and then sell it. They take pre-orders and then make it.
Right.
So it's like,
well, what they're really doing is they're probably funding most of the project up front, which is fine.
Which is true.
They're hedging their bets too, right? They know they're not going to make more than they need to.
Well, that's true. That's true. But it is nice to know that some of them are coming to retail.
Yeah, I'm glad they have that partnership with Best Buy and even GameStop now because they have the Nurse Love Syndrome games.
I saw that.
Yeah, so you know they're expanding, and you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that because it gives people other options of where to buy the games because maybe you don't go online to buy, maybe you just walk into a store. But what's nice is that even though they do pre-orders, you never worry if they're going to make the game. Like every game that they announce, you're going to see it at some point. Right. Celeste, I think, was probably the oddity because they were waiting for that final DLC to come through. So they made that decision to say, like, let's have it complete on cart. But normally, I mean, I feel like there's so many games that they're putting out that I don't feel like I'm really waiting on any because I'm always getting a shipment in of some game that I pre-ordered. And, you know, I have enough of a backlog, like, I'm okay waiting. Yeah, but I guess people, you know, that don't buy everything and they want that one game, it's hard to wait sometimes when you're just excited.
Speaking of, like, games, like, selling out and pre-orders, I don't know if this is the case for around y'all, but when I went to buy Borderlands today, No GameStop within 100 miles has any. No Best Buy had any.
Yep.
No Walmart had any. I found the last copy at Target.
Oh, here
And
we
the
go.
guy at GameStop told me, the guy at GameStop told me, COVID and all that's going on. He was like, they only shipped us pre-order copies and nothing, no extras.
It makes sense. People aren't actively going out, and I've even noticed that, like, just in general, like with Best Buy before COVID, they're not getting a lot of the titles. Like, they either get like a few copies, and a lot of times what happens is I would pre-order, do an in-store pickup, and I would just go to the shelves just to see what they have. They wouldn't even have new releases out.
Oh, I remember when I went to buy Tyler, it was something I think you got me the discount on. It was something that came out and it was day one. What was it?
I don't know, but I just looked it up on Best Buy. You can still buy it at least online.
Yeah.
It's some game. I don't remember which game it was, but I remember it was day one that it came out, and I was at Best Buy, and I asked them if they had it, and they had to look for like an hour.
Jeez.
Oh, I know what it was. It was Super Meat Boy. That's what it was. Which I think I sold, but I remember asking them for it, and they're like looking it up in the system, and they're like, "Well, it says we have it, but I don't know where the box full of them is."
Yep.
And after like an hour, they found this little box like tucked away with like 4 copies.
Yeah.
But I was like, Jesus Christ! You don't even know it's out today.
Right.
Like, when would that have ever been put on the shelf? Had I not come in here and asked for it?
I always like to do the well, if you're an Elite member in Best Buy, they'll ship it free for launch day, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But even their pre-order like pickup in store that day, I haven't had any problems with.
No, me either.
Yeah.
The fact that GameStop doesn't ship the shit until the day it comes out, that right there just doesn't sell me on going to them for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
You don't want to wait the extra few days.
Why pre-order it then?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that's all the bullet points I had for like talking points. There were certainly a lot of them, especially with the questions.
Yeah. We're only gonna run an hour and a half here, huh, Tyler?
I think it's me, really.
Oh, that's fine though. I mean,
yeah. So there's a few more like usual topics that we do on the show, and the one is the one that we do every week, and usually we alternate this, but we do the spotlights of either a modern or a retro game. For this week, I thought we'd all pick one, talk about, and then do the same for modern. Hunter, you said you didn't have one. Do you want to go last, or?
Yeah, give me a second, because I've been out of town and I didn't really have time to prepare. So yeah, y'all go first. Let me think.
Oh, okay. All right.
What are we doing first? Retro?
Yeah, retro. Yeah.
Retro.
So I can't remember quite why I picked this game, but it's a super great game if you've never played it. But it's Saturn Bomberman, and part of the reason that it came to mind is that Bomberman R was one of the first. It was the second game I bought. Well, I bought Zelda and Bomberman R at launch. Is it Super Bomberman R?
Yeah, it's
Super Bomberman R. Yeah, and I bought them both at launch, and I had played Saturn Bomberman like maybe a year before, like played almost all the way through the game a year before Super Bomberman R came out, and gosh, I was just really disappointed with the Super Bomberman R because Saturn Bomberman is so much better. It is like the
I mean, it's pretty collectively agreed that it is the best Bomberman game if you can get
it's
it.
really good. Everything about it, like the art style, the gameplay, the graphics. I mean, it is if you have a Saturn, that's a must-have. You know what I mean?
If you have $600 to buy it.
Well, whatever the case is, yeah. I remember when I bought it years ago, and I think I paid $70.
I remember
which at the time was a good deal, but now it's on.
My buddy bought a Saturn from our game store for like $40, and for some reason, when he got home, there was a disc of Bomberman in it.
Wow, that's a bonus.
Yeah, he was like, "Okay, I'll take that."
Yeah. Super Bomberman is one of the few games that use the Sega Saturn Netlink or the online thing. I think there were only 6 games that did that, maybe 4.
There's Virtual On, Daytona USA, Duke Nukem, whatever you just said. Which one I can't already remember.
Super Bomberman, Saturn.
Yeah, Bomberman, and Daytona Say might have. I think I said that.
Yeah, but the other Sega Championship Racing is one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a-
Sega Championship Racing. Like, there's only a few.
Yeah, that might be all of them actually, but and you can play up to I think it's 8 players on a single console.
No, it's 10.
10, okay. If you have like a
If you daisy chain a
string
bunch
of
of
multi-taps,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, no
So,
other Bomberman to this day I don't think has 10-player mode.
I'm not sure. But that would be a really cool game to get 10 people physically in a room to play.
Uh-huh. 6 feet apart.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
Why didn't you and Rob play any of that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
All right, well, next time
I don't have a multi-tap. That's for one reason.
Oh, well, right. I forgot
So we
Saturn,
have
so
one
it's impossible to get anything.
But just a note, if you don't want to spend whatever Saturn Bomberman is worth nowadays, Super Bomberman on the Super Nintendo was also super good and definitely.
Oh
better.
yeah,
yeah.
Still very.
Anyway.
Actually, the TurboGrafx one is quite good also.
Bomberman 93. Is that what that's called?
Yes, think so.
Yeah. I've never played that one, but okay.
Pretty good.
So anyway, Saturn Bomberman was my pick of the week.
If I had to pick a retro game, for me that has a lot of nostalgia would be for Super Nintendo, Nickelodeon Guts.
Wow.
It's so funny you bring that up. I had never heard of that game until like 2 months ago.
Really?
When I randomly got it in a lot of stuff, and I was like, I've never heard of this game. How have I never seen this? Right? Go look it up. It's a little uncommon.
It's not like it's not super good, but
no, I played it for a minute,
and I will say you play single player, and you have to get a certain number of points to do the aggro crag at the very end, which was like the obstacle course up the mountain, which I can never do because the game was like the controls to me were just so bad, like trying to jump and shoot and like running, and it was just not that good. But when I think you do like 2-player or you pick like a different mode, you can get to the end. But I remember playing it like at a sleepover, and must have been like 8 or 9 years old. Went to like Blockbuster or like one of the local stores. They rented Nickelodeon Guts, F-Zero, and Super Mario Brothers the movie on VHS.
Oh god.
And like all 3 of those like are just so near and dear, but like the Nickelodeon Guts for some reason just stuck with me. I sold my Super Nintendo a while ago. I sold all my games. I still have that one complete in box. Like I'm not getting rid of that one.
I also had it in box.
Yeah, it's a fun bad game, I guess.
Well, it's like what's that damn Super Nintendo game that Sam hates? Bebe's Kids.
Yeah. Oh, baby. Yep.
Oh God, what a terrible game! But it's so bad, it's hilarious.
Uh-huh.
All right, I got one. One of the best classic racing games ever, RC Pro-Am. And it's very unfortunate it suffers the final fight problem of the first one does not have 2-player. So only the second one does. But I believe on Rare Replay, I believe on that collection you get 1 and 2, and I believe they've put multiplayer in it.
Oh, nice.
I have it sitting around here somewhere. I could probably tell you, but I don't know where the hell I put. Oh, there it is, right here. Let's see.
Does it tell you the number of players that can play any given game?
No, but I was seeing which ones were on here.
Oh, I see.
But apparently it doesn't list it because I have the little Gears of War / Rare Replay. But yeah, at least one of them's on there, and it's super, super fun to play.
I might have it. I'll check.
And if you don't have it, I mean, the first one on the NES is literally $1 game. It's so common.
Yeah, I do have it.
I just have never played it. Yeah.
It's fun. It's kind of like what would I describe it as? Like
yeah, they're both on here.
It's like not top down, but it's not like angled, so it's pseudo 3D. Isometric. That's what I was thinking of.
Have you ever played Championship Pro-Am, the Genesis one?
Yeah, that's good too.
And then Rock and Roll Racing is kind of like that too.
Rock and Roll Racing is one of the most underrated games on the Super Nintendo and the Genesis. Super Nintendo has actually, in my opinion, the worst music. For once, the Genesis did it better.
Doesn't that game have like they're not?
It uses
like modified versions of real songs or something?
No, they use like Black Sabbath, Iron Man. I think Deep Purple's in it, but it's just 16-bit renditions of it. And for stuff like that, that's heavier and metally, I mean, the Genesis, come on, it sounds like an industrial machine half the time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, it was never that crisp, clean sound. It was that in your face, metal.
Yeah.
So
That's
it really
that flash
worked for that
processing you were knocking.
It is. It's that extra power from the 32X Sega CD combo. Really, really jamming it up in there. No, that's a great game. Super Nintendo version's still good, but the music's worse.
Isn't there a sequel to that game, Rock and Roll Racing? It's like a pseudo sequel.
I don't think so. Is there?
Yeah, there is, and I can't remember what it's called.
Uh,
But I don't think it's as good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There is one.
Apparently it is.
What's it called?
Apparently it's called Rock and Roll Racing 2
Well, no, that's not it.
on PlayStation.
This one, there's no way that's a sequel to Rock and Roll Racing. There's just no way.
No, it is.
No, I know, but there's no. That's not what I'm thinking of. There's a game that's it's like a half-assed version. It's like Power Punch 2 to Mike Tyson's
God.
Punch Out.
You know what
It's like one of
system
those
it's on?
things. Yeah, I think it's on Super Nintendo.
I'll look up Rock and Roll Racing like games.
Gosh.
I really have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, this I can't be making this up. This must exist.
I am almost positive you're making this up.
Uh,
I really don't think you're right here. And if I'm wrong, I'll eat my shorts, but
no.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about here.
All right.
Again,
Why don't we
finding-
move on to the next thing,
All
and
right.
I'll look this up because this is real.
Yeah, if you ever find out, please tell me because I really
Yeah,
need to know.
I think it's a bad game though, if I remember right. Anyway, I'll find it. So do your modern one. You guys go first. Let me find this.
JP, you can go first.
Xenoblade Chronicles, if we're doing modern.
Oh,
Newest-
yeah.
Newest game for me, probably my favorite, one of my favorite games now on the Switch. Can't put it down. So to me, like if I can't stop playing it at like 4 a.m. and I have to work at 8, that's a good game, and that's
Mhm.
what it is
I
for me
get it.
with Xenoblade right now. So I would highly recommend that one.
I'm gonna pick an odd choice here, but this game, I can't believe it didn't sell well because it's so good. Starlink. That game is actually
Yeah.
super good.
Yep.
It's unfortunate that Best Buy has rows of them for $4 on
I
clearance.
was gonna say, how much did you pay for it? That's what I was gonna ask.
I paid
Full
20 on
price.
Black Friday 2 years ago, and I thought that was a good deal. And now it's literally like $4 on clearance everywhere.
I paid full price.
Wow.
I think I bought it on Black Friday, and it was $29 or $20 maybe.
No, yeah, because you're the one that tipped me onto it on Best Buy's website. I remember.
Yeah.
'Cause I ordered that and Burnout Paradise Remastered for PS4.
Nice.
Good
choice.
But no, I mean it's basically it's kind of like No Man's Sky with Star Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a multi-platform game, but I mean the Switch version has Star Fox. Come on.
Right.
So yeah, I'd probably pick that. Underrated. Oh, by the way, I thought of when we were talking earlier about like retro games inspired by the Switch or like that are on it. Toki. Hello?
Yes.
Ah,
Totally forgot I had the little retro collectors
Yes.
edition.
that's
but
a
I
cool
mean,
set.
it is a cool set.
I like their arcade
And-
thing.
And Toki, in my opinion, is an underrated arcade game. It's very hard. It's a one hit and you die kind of game, but
Mhm.
this is just one of those releases. It's like, who in the hell gave a shit about Toki? Nobody since 1989. Like, wow, I actually was right. 1989. I was taking a guess there. That was actually when the game came out. Okay, yeah. So like, literally, they made one Toki game and then nobody gave a shit, and now they did this, which is neat, but weird. Also,
Have you-
GameStop exclusive.
Yeah.
Have you played the original on NES?
Yes.
Or I don't even know if that's the original, but the NES.
Well, I mean, the arcade is the original, but yeah, there's an NES port. Have you played the Genesis version?
I haven't. I've heard that they're
It's-
not very good.
I like them, but they are lacking. I would say the Genesis version is better.
Hmm.
But the game's just hard as all hell.
Hmm.
I like it. It's an interesting concept. Plus, the Genesis one's name is hilarious. Toki going ape spit.
Oh yeah,
That's a great name.
yeah.
Come on.
Okay, so I've done some research, and it appears that I did make it up. And now, what I might be thinking about Rock and Roll Racing is that it's actually like the pseudo sequel to RC Pro-Am. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. I can't really explain it.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you were making that up.
I got nothing. Yeah, I could have sworn there was some bad follow-up to Rock and Roll Racing that was on Super Nintendo, but I cannot place it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that Bikers from Mars game? It's not that, is it?
What is it?
What's that? Space Bikers from Mars or something?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're not thinking of Eliminator Boat Duel, are you? Because that's like that too.
No, I'm not thinking.
Okay, by the way, I'm probably the first person in 2 years to say that game's name on a YouTube video.
No, it's not Biker Mice from Mars. It's not that, because that game's a Konami game. It's probably not. Yeah.
Cannot think.
Yeah, it must not exist. I don't know what to tell you. I can't justify my.
Well, I mean, obviously you were thinking of something.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Cobra Triangle?
No, this game is on Super Nintendo, and it's a sequel to. I thought it was a sequel to Rock and Roll Racing.
Oh, it's on Super Nintendo.
Yeah. You're listing NES games. No, you're going.
I didn't hear. Okay, well, I didn't hear you say.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo. That changes. That changes.
Yeah. Well, why don't you Google it, and I'll tell you about Rage 2, which was my pick for the modern game. So if you guys ever played, I don't know if you guys played the Rage 1, but
yes, I did. It's like Borderlands.
It was a pretty hyped game because it was the first id Software new like IP since Quake, and it came out and it kind of came and went. It really was kind of an underwhelming game. It was a great showpiece for the engine, but the game itself was just okay. But then Rage 2 kind of surprise got announced a few
I know. I remember when it came out for pre-order at GameStop, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
I was working for them at the time, and it came up in our system one day, and I was like, Rage 2?
Yeah.
Who the hell gave a shit about the first one?
Yeah, so it's really a dynamic from the first game to the second game is totally different. The first game is like, it's not really tongue-in-cheek at all. It takes itself pretty serious. The second game is like a popcorn flick kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like an 80s sort of.
So it's like Saints Row almost.
Yeah, just
sort of. Yeah, it's kind of like off the wall, goofy characters, a lot of pink and fluorescent stuff.
Yeah, so it's just like Saints Row almost. Yeah.
But it's like in the desert and stuff. So it's kind of like Borderlands, maybe apparently mixed with Saints Row. It's not all that original. Like the gameplay is pretty much open world, post-apocalyptic kind of stuff. But it's really fun. It's a really fun game. I think that one just completely flew under the radar, and it's pretty cheap nowadays. So,
I just thought of what game you might be thinking of.
Okay.
Is it Radical Psycho Machine Racing?
Yes, that's it.
Is it that?
Yes, that is it.
I've never played that one. It's made by Interplay though.
Radical Psycho Machine. Oh my god, I can't believe you found that.
Yeah, I was gonna guess either that or Super Off-Road.
Well, now hold on. Now, this is the game I was thinking of, but this is not a sequel. In fact, this came out before Rock and Roll Racing.
All right, well, then I got nothing for you. Obviously, you've created some elaborate illusion of a pseudo sequel in your head, and it just does not exist.
Yeah, this is definitely. Gosh, the box art doesn't look right either. But this is it. This has got to be it, right? I mean,
I don't know what else you would be thinking of.
Yeah, made by Blizzard. How about that?
Oh yeah.
It's developed by Blizzard. Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe Rock and Roll Racing's the shitty sequel that I'm thinking of. I don't
Rock and Roll Racing's actually the shitty game.
Yeah, it was right under our noses the whole time.
I'll tell you one of the. I know now we're on a whole nother Super Nintendo thing here. I just want to mention real quick. One of the most underrated games is Uniracers, which was done by Rockstar before they were Rockstar when they were still DMX, and that game's great.
Do you know that game got pulled from store shelves?
I think I did know that.
Yeah, I think it had something to. It was a licensing issue. It was too close to something. It might have been Disney related.
I wonder if I can find.
Yeah. Now my specifics right there might have been made up as well, but this game definitely did.
So at this point we're just lying.
Yeah.
Also, I called him DMX, and it's DMA. I just realized what it said. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah. It might have been Pixar.
You're right. I remember reading this, and it is
It's
Pixar.
the Pixar lamp, isn't
It's
it?
the Pixar.
Yes.
No, so Pixar has this short film in the 80s called Red's Dream, and it's about a unicycle. They were sued because the unicycle in Uniracers looks just like the motorcycle, but right here it says one of the developers commented the problem with Pixar was that they seemed to think that any computer generated unicycle was owned by them, but they lost the lawsuit and had to terminate production of further cartridges. The deal was that Nintendo wouldn't make any more carts, so Unirally, I guess that's what it's called overseas. Unirally only sold the 300,000 initial run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's funny because that game's going up in price.
Well, I was going to say even more now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm surprised that game's not worth more money, but 300,000 that's a lot. So
Yeah.
I mean, that is a lot still, but it's going up there. It used to be like $1 game, and it's getting like to the $20 range now.
Mhm.
I think I have a cartridge.
But it's a very underrated game, and I would highly recommend that you play it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we've pretty much almost talked about this already, but any games that you guys are currently playing through that you haven't mentioned, or any games that JP, this list would be long for you, but games you've pre-ordered recently?
Everything.
Yeah. Shortest answer ever. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been out of town, so I haven't been playing a whole lot. I am super excited to get into Borderlands, though. And I really want to play Pokemon. I'm probably going to open that up tonight, honestly, because I really want to play that.
Yeah.
And I know that's supposed to be amazing, but other than that, I haven't really kept up a whole lot. Like I said, I was just looking through the recent games coming out, and basically Crysis and Deadly Premonition are the only ones that I was like, you kind of hype about.
Yeah.
But that doesn't count like, limited runs doing Blaster Master. Yeah, I want that, and all these other limited companies that I can't keep up with.
Mm-hmm. I told you I pre-ordered. I think I mentioned I pre-ordered Tricky Towers.
Yes,
super rare game.
I want to get that too.
I have the Sexy Brutale. Is that how you say it? Brutale?
Yeah.
Sexy Brutale. Yeah, that's coming. It's shipped already. It should be here any day. I was hoping to be.
Oh, it already got shipped.
Yeah, that one got delayed because of COVID. But
yeah. Well, I think Well, what hasn't?
Yeah. And then I bought Panzer Dragoon, the limited run remake, the Sega Saturn looking one.
Oh, can't believe I missed the pre-order for that.
That's really cool.
That one, if you go on to their website, I think that may be one that has a little blurb that says Best Buy may be receiving some copies.
Really?
You have to double check because my phone's like dead, but I thought that was one. And what's really nice is they actually just put out a patch. They just put out a patch for it that improved so much. And I think that may be the version that's going to be shipped on the part.
Okay, I hope so.
It says right here, Best Buy may be receiving a very small numbers a copy of this game with alternate cover art.
Well, you may not have missed it.
Best Buy has the ability to not move forward with their order as it has not been finalized yet. Well, I missed it, so we're gonna pray for the Best Buy release.
Yeah.
I would definitely have to get that.
So I got the Saturn look of the collector's edition. It was just too cool for me to not.
I mean, how can you not?
I thought that was super cool.
How can you not? And only $60.
I think what I love is
sorry. It's just funny that this brand new remake is less expensive than the original.
Oh, right, because those games got pricey.
Yeah, it was just hilarious today.
I just love when they do classic editions. They make the NES boxes, SNES boxes, the N64 boxes.
I was saying, Ukulele had the N64, Iconoclast had the Super Nintendo one. This has the Saturn one. It's very neat.
The Turok ones are pretty cool too.
Oh,
Night Trap had the Sega CD one. That was cool.
Yep, that was a good one. Yeah.
The Turok one, that Turok one is pretty badass.
The Super Nintendo Iconoclast one. That's the only reason I bought that game.
Oh, it looks great.
I remember I pre-ordered that game, got it, sold it, and then when I ordered my blind box this year, I got it back. So at this point,
I wasn't huge on the game, unfortunately.
I remember you were really excited and
there's a lot of reading, a lot of text and talking, and I was like,
this is why you won't play The Witcher. It's too much dialogue.
Yeah, that's The Witcher. I'm way over my head, and I don't think I'm going to play that either. I'm more of a simple guy,
I blame you.
Yeah, that's why I like Doom and Donkey Kong Country.
Well, it's like you said. This is why you play so many indie games these days.
Right, yeah, because
Right.
they're to the point most of the time. Well, although Iconoclast is an indie game, but and then the only other thing that typically we talk about are games that we've been playing recently, but I think we've pretty much touched on that.
Yeah, we've touched on it at this point.
I do have 2 games though that limited run games that I've been playing recently.
Oh yeah, which ones?
And today I finally opened up my collector's edition copy of Freedom Planet.
Ooh,
Nice.
Finally, you finally opened it, huh?
Oh, I got a great. There was something in the game that I didn't know was in there in the box. I mean, that I'll go grab because I left it out. That was super cool.
I'm very curious to know what this is.
I had no idea this was inside, but this is what was in there.
Oh no shit!
Yeah,
Wow.
because the
Sorry,
game's like basically a Sonic game.
Oh, that's cool.
Unfortunately, the inside could hold a cartridge, but there's nothing there.
Oh,
and
they
you
should have
can't-
at least they should have at least made like a fake one.
or something where you could put the Switch cartridge in there or something.
Yeah. Still though, I mean that's
That-
neat though.
That's a poster, but yeah, that's really cool. It's got the checkered pattern,
You know
everything.
that was in there.
I had no idea. I forgot. I guess I don't
That's
know.
a nice surprise right there.
Yeah, that was cool. And the game's all right. The voice acting is horrendous. It's like
Is
they
it
just had
is
the
it really
people who-
bad?
They had the people who made the game just like do the voices, but but it's a fun game. And then what was the other? Oh yeah, the other one is I think this was like one of their first limited run games that they ever did. It's one of the games that I just like kind of always can kind of go back to. It's kind of like Dead Cells in that regard. You can just kind of always kind of go
Mhm.
back and play. And that was Flint Hook.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is a
well, I
lot
know
like
that
Dead
game's
Cells
not
and-
highly
and-
regarded.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
actually it's a lot like Dead Cells, really. I mean, the gameplay loop anyway is pretty similar. The games don't look or play anything really at all alike, but the kind of general loop, I guess, of the gameplay is very similar.
Mhm.
And that's a super good game. Tough. It's a tough game, but it's really good.
I've got one. Hang on. I can get it out here, guys. Damn it. I think I'm gonna open this up finally and play because I got it forever ago. That release of Don Maku
Yeah.
3, that shooter.
Mhm.
I've been wanting to play this, and I need to just open it and play it already.
If we're talking limited run, the game that shipped that I'm waiting for, and in my mind I've just been wanting to play this game. It's the Real Mist Masterpiece
haven't seen-
Edition.
Ah,
seen that.
I've never been a Mist guy, but I don't know if it's just me getting older and just wanting something that's less action oriented, more exploration. But when they announced it, I was so happy, and now it's almost here.
It's funny because I was gonna say I don't care about Myst. I never liked it as a kid. Myst,
Yeah, I didn't
Riven,
either.
whatever it is. It doesn't appeal. It's point and click basically. It doesn't appeal
Yeah.
to me.
that's what
still
is it like a remake of that game, the original one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just funny that you said that because I'm always like, who the hell would buy these games? Well, now I know. Now I know.
Eh.
JP's keeping the Myst series alive.
Hunter, you mentioned that you didn't have any time to prepare. Did you come up with a trivia thing?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
It is Switch related.
Oh, good. Well, before you say the trivia thing, I wanted to ask JP, that row of games behind you that are vertically stacked, what is that? You have
Those
like
are
4
yeah.
games.
Oh no, it's not 4. It's so this started in 2018, so you have 2018, 19, and 20. And it's Let's Sing, and it's the 4 different international versions. So you have the UK, France, Spain, and Germany. So it has pretty much the same English songs and then region-specific songs. So I have for 3 years running, I bought all 4, so it's 12 games. And these big box have the microphones, so it actually came with microphones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then when I stopped kind of going for the full collector's editions and just the games, I started buying just like the games themselves. So now
Okay.
they're like on the shelf. But those are all the big box Let's Sings, and I think I may be the only person in the world that is going actively trying to get every single one every year. So
That's funny.
One, yes, you're the only person, I guarantee. 2, I literally just bought Let's Sing Country yesterday.
from GameStop,
Yeah, well, it's on sale for $10 and it's an exclusive.
yeah, I'm probably the only person that paid full price for it.
Yes,
And then it
I
went on sale, and I'm
guarantee.
just like, of course we get country.
I
we
knew
don't-
if I waited, it was going to go on sale. That's why I bought Farm Expert yesterday. That was $10 on sale, and Tyler's
Yep.
sitting there going, "The hell did you buy that for?"
I don't know.
It's a Switch game. Any Switch game that's under $10 is an immediate buy
I guess so.
for me.
Yeah. So JP, the way we tip, unless you had anything else, JP.
No.
I think we pretty much covered everything under the sun.
Yeah.
Typically, the last thing we'll do on the show is just some random bit of trivia, and we alternate it every week. And
Oh, boy.
I did the last one. Hunter's got one this week. What switch?
So I was
And I'd
looking
be-
up a little.
I'd be curious if JP knows it or not. You know what I mean?
I was looking up stuff about the Switch, like stuff you didn't know about it and stuff like that. And this one was interesting because it's going to help me because this has happened like 47 times already. I didn't know that if you lose your Joy-Cons, the Switch has a way to find it. It'll make the Joy-Cons. It's something like if you click on something on the home screen, like, on like in handheld mode, it has a Find Controllers thing, and it'll make them vibrate.
Wow.
Is that what the Find Controllers thing does?
Yeah, you can walk around with it and find them.
Oh my god!
I never knew that you could do this.
I didn't know that either.
So, yeah, I thought that was really crazy to me. I would have never, ever guessed.
Mhm.
I've never even looked. I've never looked
Did
at
not know
that.
that.
setting.
I always wondered why TVs didn't do that because I used to lose the remote all the time.
Oh, I know, all the time.
Send out like a little like high pitched little beep noise or
This
something.
is, I mean, this is related, but when I was in Michigan just now, like a week ago, when I was at Rob's, I had my rental or whatever, and I locked my keys in the car, which my immediate reaction is, "Oh, good, I'm 50 miles in the middle of nowhere."
Yeah.
Apparently, cars now are smart enough to know that the key is in the car and I'm not, and it automatically unlocked itself.
Yeah.
Hmm. Nice.
So-
Yeah, my car does that too. And you know what's funny? It's funny how these stories tie together all the time. But I went golfing the other day, and some guy was like he had a Dodge Ram pickup truck,
Yeah.
and he was like kind of like it looked like he was messing with his tailgate, and I couldn't figure out what he was doing, and I didn't really care. But I was getting my golf clubs out of my trunk, and he's like, "God, I just had to break into my own car. I locked my keys in my trunk, and he goes, and I got
I've
in."
done it. I've done
He
it.
goes, and I got in, so he's like, I guess it's good to know my car is safe. Or
I locked my keys in my trunk. I've locked them.
I've done it myself. I've done
I've
it.
locked them in the ignition before. I've especially in my old car. So my old car had the problem of you could like take the fucking key out and the engine would still run because it's all old and messed up.
Mhm.
And I would never drive with the key in, and I would just like put it in the ashtray or something. I can't tell you how many times I locked it in there.
Oh my god.
I'm sure people, like, I remember one time I was at the grocery store and I was like trying to get like a thing down in there, and people had to have thought I was breaking into this car.
Yeah.
But-
If I've done it before, where if my key fob is in my golf bag and I close the trunk it'll pop itself back open.
Oh, that's good.
Really?
Yeah.
It's crazy how it knows.
It's just a sensor. It's all it is, and it probably your car probably detected that nobody was sitting in the seat.
Uh-huh.
It's
They
just,
can do that now.
it's just crazy because going back to my old piece of shit. I'm probably gonna.
You didn't
lock my
even need
keys
a key for that.
I'm probably gonna lock. Yeah, this one didn't even take a key. This one I'm probably gonna lock the keys in the next week.
Yeah.
Fine.
Funny stuff. Well, I think that about does it. I mean, there's I guess an hour and a half was really a pipe dream.
It's okay. I'm used to
We're
it by
almost at
now.
3 hours here, just
Yeah.
like JP was like, "Oh yeah, they normally run like 3 hours." Well, we're coming in on that.
Or 2:45, whatever it is.
I want you to feel our pain.
Yeah. So what's your podcast? Is it you guys run around 3 hours too? Is that what you guys do? Or
Yeah,
what's,
so we always say the joke is under an hour and a half. It never is. I would say consistently we're probably between like 2.5 hours.
okay.
And it's
Is
not
that
even
on?
like we're trying to, but
Yeah. Is that on your YouTube channel?
so not on mine. We have it on Apple Podcast. It's Switch Mania Playcast. We have 52 episodes now. We do
Oh,
one a
wow.
week. So we've been doing it for about a year now. I don't think we've missed a week. And then also, if you go to one of the co-hosts, he's an author. So he did the Switch Collector book. He's done like complete NES books, complete SNES books. But he has a website called HagensAlley.com, and that's where he posts them all. But Apple Podcast is probably like the easiest way to listen to us. But yeah, Switch Mania Playcast.
Now I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. We try and have fun. We always pick one game of the week and we play it for the week and we talk about it. We talk about upcoming releases, new pre-orders, like any big like highlight news items for the Switch that was talked about this week, and then we just BS a lot. So that's why we run over.
Yeah, when you talk about play a game and talk about it, kind of like a book club sort of thing. Like
so like this, we do now what's like a long play. So like Xenoblade Chronicles is our long game. So each week we'll do like a progress report. But then this week we picked Rolling Gunner from Mebius because we know it's getting a physical through Physicality Games, which is one of the new publishers.
Wow, I was about to say, haven't even heard of them. Here we go, another one.
So if you like a bullet hell schmuck,
yes, I do.
Game,
so go on their
Rolling
website
Gunner,
right now.
Yeah, Rolling Gunner is a great one. So that's the one that we focused on this week. Last week was Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. The week before that,
I just bought that.
Yeah. So the week before that, we did Bloodstained Curse of the Moon.
Oh, that's the one. Sorry.
Oh, this is that company doing that Guilty Gear anniversary pack.
The North American version.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're doing Slay Away Camp.
Yeah, I see that. Rolling Gunner.
And what's nice is they're the only company right now that you can do a $5 pre-order.
Really?
Oh. Well, yeah.
Okay. I'm about to look at the whole thing. Gotcha.
So if for some reason the game doesn't get funded enough to be made, they refund everybody. But yeah, it's a new company, but I like them. They're very active on social media.
I'm probably gonna put a pre-order down on this, honestly.
Yeah, $5 can't hurt.
Yeah.
But,
cool.
Yeah, that's the problem with
like
some of these other companies. It's like half the reason I don't buy some of the games from these companies is because I want to pre-order them, but I don't have like the $60 or whatever dollars to put down for a pre-order half the time. So, all right, well, you got me interested in Rolling Gunner.
There you go.
Nice. Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, JP. I mean, this was cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I learned a lot. Very interesting.
Switch is all the rage, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. Right. Well, I mean, I think 2 hours and 45 minutes is long enough, I think. So we can end it here, and we'll be back next week. And don't forget, if you made it all the way 2 hours and 45 minutes, if you can guess the origin of the name of the podcast, you'll get a $10 gift certificate to someplace, wherever it is. Cheesecake Factory. You can pick. It doesn't matter. And with
we can't pick restaurants because nothing's open. So
you can do takeout. Actually, they're opening restaurants here in Michigan, which has notoriously been strict on the whole COVID thing.
Yeah, they just did here yesterday.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Anyway, I think you're doing it for us very soon.
Yeah. So, anyways, all right. So that's the deal. Anyway, we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Thanks again, JP, and we'll be like I said, here again in 2 weeks.
Thanks for having me.